because it seems as though everybody is here. They tell us 5,000 tickets only went to West Virginia University. They got rid of those by lottery, but I guarantee you there are a lot more than 5,000 people here today. Steve Rogers to my left and I came out almost 2.5 to 3 hours before the game and had to walk the last half mile. I said Steve Rogers and Steve Davis, of course. And Steve, let us talk about not Chris Carter, who is not here. He is the man, of course, the wide receiver, the All-American, took some money from an agent. Ohio State did not go to bat for him, doesn't want him back. They said they did the wrong thing, so he's gone. But when West Virginia does come here in the 4-hour bus ride, they're going to face one of the best defenses in the country, bar none.
Well, there's no doubt about it. One of the real trademarks of Ohio State is their defense, and especially their linebackers, and especially in 1987, Jim. They've got two outstanding linebackers. Their inside linebacker is Chris Spielman. 205 tackles last year, an outstanding award winner, All-American football player. Coaches across the country say Chris Spielman plays with more intensity than any player they've ever played or seen play. He is so intense. He knows his talent. He's not overwhelming in terms of his physical abilities, but what he's able to do on the field of finding the man with the ball and making the tackle. Number 2, Eric Kumaro, the number 2 linebacker. He's the outside backer. He is a tremendous player in the sense of his pass rush ability. He is a little bit overshadowed by the fact that Spielman, but what Kumaro does is give him a great 1-2 punch at linebacker.
Let's get back to Spielman for a moment. I like what he says. He wants to be in the College Hall of Fame as a player, in the Professional Hall of Fame as a player, and then he wants to coach Ohio State. Other than that, he doesn't think much about football.
Well, I think Chris Spielman is one of the great, intense players of all time in terms of his linebacker. He's a great, great player.
We're going to talk about West Virginia's linebackers and their thinness at linebacker in a moment, but down on the field as a third member of our party is a man who came here last with Michigan State when they were the national champions under Duffy Daugherty. And wide receiver Gene Washington, what kind of day did you have here in all of this madness?
Yeah, Jim, I had a great day, and I was very, very impressed with the opportunity I had to play here. This is a great tradition here, great stadium, and that year we were national champions, but this was one of the toughest places we had to play.
It is a tough place to play, and I doubt that Gene Washington can even hear us, and the game is fully 15 minutes away. But welcome to our telecast, Gene Washington. We look forward to you on the sidelines today. And Steve Davis and I will be coming back to Ohio Stadium with the expected sellout crowd in just a moment with the kickoff. But in the meantime, let us go back for more about the Big Ten, tonight's game, and other games around the country as we go back to our studios for Big Ten Today in Champaign, Illinois, and our veteran guest host, and he is a good one. Back to you, Dave Dials.
All right, Jim and Gene and Steve, we're delighted you're all with us. You know, Earl Bruce and Don Nehlen have coached against each other before. This is not new for them. Guess where? In high school. When Bruce coached at Massillon, Ohio, and Don Nehlen, later coached at Bowling Green, coached at Canton-McKinley, great rivalry. And Fritz Howell said to me one time, the old sports writer, rather cover that game than Ohio State and Michigan. Some of the other top games we'll be following today. Top-ranked Oklahoma's be home against North.
Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Apple Computer, makers of the new Macintosh SE and Macintosh 2 family of personal computers. State and West Virginia.
Well, Jim, it's really part of the storyline today in the football game. The game today with Ohio State, they have a senior quarterback. He's waited his turn, Tom Tupa, an outstanding quarterback that Earl Bruce believes may become the best quarterback that he's had at Ohio State, which is saying a lot considering the players he's had. He has all the skills and all the talent. What Tom Tupa has to do is be very patient. Don't try to cram your entire career into one performance a day or your senior season. On the other side of the ball, interesting, Major Harris, the starting quarterback for West Virginia, he's a redshirt freshman. He doesn't have all the skills. He doesn't have all the talent right now, or the experience is the main point. And I think what Major Harris has to do is play within what the coaches have set as his limitations. He doesn't know a whole lot right now, but he's got the skill and talent to be a great
great punter, so he has been on the team, but his punting, plus Casados and Pomzak, have kept him off the field as a quarterback for the most part. On the other hand, Major Harris is a redshirt freshman, and he's coming out here today with an offense that showed nothing against Ohio University in terms of any diversification at all. In their warm-ups, as you pointed out today, Steve, they showed nothing. But we have a feeling that Major Harris has a big job ahead of him in running a wishbone.
Well, that's right. They came out in the pre-game drills and showed exactly what they did last week, and the secret is they're going to come out in the wishbone. Last week they were very conservative. They had 2 formations, did not show anything but 3 different plays, and didn't run one single wishbone formation play. So the key today is to watch Ohio State early of how they react to the wishbone attack that West Virginia is going to put on them.
One other thing about West Virginia, 5 years ago they went out to Norman, Oklahoma. Steve was not there, and knocked off Oklahoma by a big score and shocked everybody. And Don Nehlen has his team here saying, in our mind, we know what it is to pull off a game like that. We know what it is to play before 90,000 people. Well, now, minds aside, they've got to come out and play today. And it is the element of surprise. And Earl Bruce said something interesting. He said, since they've already played a game, West Virginia, it's like they're starting on the 10-yard line, and we're starting at the goal line. They're 10 yards ahead of us. Earl Bruce, they were wondering what he was going to wear today because of the Cotton Bowl, remember, he came out in athletic gear, then the team went back in, then he came back dressed like this. So he's going formal again.
Well, he really is. He was out in his athletic attire before the ball game, and now he's really dressed up.
Here is West Virginia, 1-0 this year, beating Ohio University, but their worst season under Don Nehlen last year, 4-7. They want to turn that around. They have the new freshman quarterback in Major Harris. He is a redshirt. And he is going to be running, as we understand today, for the most part, a wishbone. It is a young ball club on defense at the linebacking core. And now down as West Virginia comes on. Their captains are already on the field and are prepared for the toss of the coin. And here come the Buckeyes, number 5 in the nation. Of the coin. Jim Kemmerling is the referee, and he is telling us that West Virginia will kick, because, or I should say Ohio State will kick, for West Virginia won the toss and will receive. Game 1 on the Big Ten Television Network. And it's a big one. Ohio State, already ranked number 5 in the nation, and West Virginia, who came on the 4-hour bus ride with one thing on their minds, an upset. They expected a cloudy day, but with no rain, but that is not to be. A week ago, West Virginia opened against Ohio University in rain, had 5 fumbles and lost 3 of them. They don't want that to happen today. Ohio State favored as they are, and Ohio State at home, as you can see, in their career, 82 wins, 78 of them opening at home. West Virginia 71, on the road 15, and Don Nehlen has never lost in his 8 years at West Virginia an opening game. But for Don Nehlen and West Virginia, this is not their opening game. It is for Ohio State. The officials breaking out. Here's the series record. Last meeting in 1903. Ohio State won 34-6, and the 6 points by West Virginia was the most points scored by any team in any prior West Virginia-Ohio State confrontation. The rest of the time, they have been totally shut out. Kicking off for the Buckeyes. Mark Piesler, and back deep is Talley. John Talley, the deep man. And it is Talley at the 6 to the 20. Across the 25, lost the football. There it goes up for grabs again. And it's going to belong, I believe, to Ohio State at the 37-yard line. Talley fumbles. They lost 3 in the first half last week. Didn't want to do that, and did it on the opening kickoff. John Talley, a senior, lost the football.
The frustration right now that Don Neenan has is knowing that this is a little bit of deja vu. When they played Miami, the game fell apart for them early. You don't want to make these kind of mistakes, obviously, and there Pat O'Morrow is able to fall on the football. You want to control the ball, just get it. They didn't happen. Now, big turnover. Now they've got to rally their defense.
Wide to the right, Anthony Coope. To the left is a flanker, Everett Ross, Cooper, and Workman in the backfield, and Tupa to call the play. There's Ross in motion on first down. And Tupa still got the football and passes it off to Coope on the far sideline. Knocked out of bounds across there by Preston Waters. Tony Coope just caught the pass, starting number 22, a freshman. The quarterback, Tom Tupa, with his big chance. The tailback, Vince Workman, 42, the leading ground gainer a year ago, and George Cooper. Anytime he has carried the ball in his career, more than 10 times a game, Ohio State's won. Everett Ross, one wide receiver, along with Coope. Now from the 29-yard line, second down and short. Clift has replaced Coope and is wide to the left. Coope is coming out firing in, right across the middle and intended for number 5 Everett Ross, and it is incomplete. Offensively on the line, making his first start, Alex Higdon, the senior tight end. At tackle, Stasiak. At guard, Jeff Davidson. Left guard, that's where Uhlenhake used to start, but he is now a center. Right guard, Zakharov. And the freshman right tackle, John Peterson, with the injury to Jay Schaefer with the abdominal muscle pull. Third down, a couple to go from the 29. Now they're going to run the football on the pitch out, and it is not a first down as James Bryant is ridden out of bounds across the way. And ridden out of bounds by Terry White, who was an all-Big Ten safety man here at Ohio State before he transferred after an altercation with the coach Earl Bruce. West Virginia defensively, across the front, Hunt, Grant, and Parker. Pickett, Warren, Herring, and Jackson, the linebackers. Waters, Edwards, and Smith and White, the deep men. And now Matt Franz, who missed one of 47 yards against Michigan, will try one from 47 yards again, and this one is good. Ended the last regular season missing one that could have beaten Michigan. Starts the season by making one of the same distance to give Ohio State, after the fumble, the 3-0 lead. 12:35 to go in the first quarter, and it's 3-0 Ohio State.
Number 90 on Talley knocks the ball loose. The frustration was West Virginia is not in position to make the play, and the ball's recovered by the kicker.
That kicker is Pat O'Morrow. I called it Mike Giesler on our rundown here. Both men are now listed as number 6s, but of course the place kicker is Pat O'Morrow, who did the job of kicking off and then recovering the fumble to set up the field goal. Well, the very thing that West Virginia did not want to do happened. They fumbled the football in their own territory. They did hold Ohio State on 3 downs after a big gain on the first down and forced the field goal attempt. Talley, the man who fumbled, is again deep, and O'Morrow will do the kicking off.
Virginia, number 7.
A very humid day in Columbus, Ohio, as you would expect. It is only not even mid-September yet. Talley again will take this one, but this one about a foot or two in the end zone, and he's going to stay there as he backs up 3 or 4 yards, and they'll come out to the 20-yard line. So now we can get to the West Virginia offense, and we'll see whether they come out in that full house or not. Harvey Smith is the senior, split end, caught a touchdown pass last week thrown by Major Harris on his first completion in college. Andre Johnson, 34, one running back. Craig Taylor, 20, another running back. John Talley is your wide receiver. And let's see how they come out. And they're going to come out showing us not the full. Yep, they're going to show us the wishbone. Major Harris, they come out on the wishbone, and Ohio State has not seen this year. And here's the handoff, and a good run there by A.B. Brown, and Brown has tossed up the football, and it's recovered by Ohio State. David Brown inside the 25. Replay of Ohio University a week ago, but this is Ohio State, not Ohio U. And another golden opportunity, and Don Nehlen is furious.
The frustration that Don Nehlen must be experiencing right now. A.B. Brown makes an outstanding run, breaking into the secondary. Good efforts, tossing, turning, trying to make something happen. It's a good effort fumble, but you just hate fumbles in any way. It looked like Chris Spillman's helmet hit the ball, knocks it free, and David Brown falls on the football for Ohio State.
Now Ohio State, they won't know what it is like to have bad field position here, the way West Virginia keeps giving up the football. Second turnover, and we've had less than a minute of time go by. Tom Tupa came out throwing, remember, and he is going to hand the ball this time off to Vince Workman, the tailback, who gets down to about the 20-yard line. Second down there, and the tackle was made there by Dale Jackson.
Jim, yesterday, Don Nehlen made the point. He said, this is such a recall. Last year, they had Miami of Florida. They played them well early, and then he said, we just fell apart, made mistakes and fumbles. He said, I just hope that doesn't happen tomorrow. He said this yesterday, and it's exactly what's happening. They're turning the ball over to Ohio State.
Gary Cliff to the right, Ross to the left. Cute was in on the first play and caught a pass, and audibilizing at the line of scrimmage is Tom Tupa. 3-0 Ohio State leads. Tupa, the short drop. The fire there to Everett Ross. Ross inside the 10-yard line, dragged down there by Preston Waters, number 5. They'll mark the ball between the 8 and the 7. And that's enough for a first and goal to go Ohio State.
Everett Ross is the only experienced receiver in the Ohio State receiver corps. It makes a good play, just a stop route. He's working on number 5, Preston Waters. Too much cushion by Waters when you're down inside the 20-yard line, and Everett Ross takes it to the sidelines for a good gain.
West Virginia's had the ball twice, but only for one snap from center. They've given the ball to Ohio State, which now shows us a full house backfield. And here is the handoff and a touchdown by James Bryant. Bryant, the sophomore, makes it 9-0. Big hole, and another gift by West Virginia. And fortunately for Ohio State, they have taken advantage, haven't they? 13:34 to go, first quarter.
This is the classic power football of Ohio State and Earl Bruce. You get the pulling guard, Jeff Davidson, leading the way there for James Bryant to go into the end zone for the touchdown for Ohio State.
Matt France with 3 points on a field goal will now have a chance to add a 4th point and the 10th of the game for the Buckeyes, who have not had to work too hard for these 10, but they'll take them. They'll take them. 13:34 to go. We're at Ohio Stadium. The umbrellas have come down. The rain has stopped. And West Virginia had better stop fumbling the football. Then burying Texas A&M 28-12 in the Cotton Bowl. And Pat O'Morrow, his kicker, is going to have a tired leg unless this stops. This is his 3rd kickoff in less than 2.5 minutes of the game. And Talley goes deep in the middle again. Return 1 and fumble. The last time he kept the ball deep in the end zone. 2 fumbles that made it 10-0 Ohio State. The field goal by France, the touchdown by James Bryant. Now Major Harris will try to get something going. Talley now at the 1-yard line. At the 10, got a hole at the 20, takes advantage of it across the 30, knocked out of bounds. And now, with outstanding field position at the 39-yard line, West Virginia will try to get this ball underway.
Again, this is classic Ohio State football, full house backfield. See number 50, Jeff Davidson, lead the way, makes the it's a trap play, and then puts James Bryant, number 41, in the end zone for the touchdown.
Remember, Major Harris handed the ball off to A.B. Brown. He made an outstanding run on the only play from scrimmage for West Virginia, but fumbled the football. Now they're not showing us the wishbone. There's Taylor, Greg Taylor, the junior out of Linden, New Jersey, number 20, and he picks up perhaps 5 yards to the 44-yard line.
I asked Don last night if he sensed how the team had prepared for the week and what he thought would happen in the ball game. He said, Steve, no coach can ever tell you what his team's going to do on Saturday afternoon. He says, I just hope they don't go into the stadium, get intimidated by the size and just the people and the things that some of them have never seen before not playing here. But they've been intimidated, obviously.
Well, this drive here will show us something. Talley swings out of motion from the wishbone, and Major Harris still has the football. He can scramble, but he's going to throw this time. Fires the football off the hands of one man, and it is intercepted. How about that? number 37, William White. And that's the third turnover in less than 3 minutes of play. Off the hands of one man into the hands of another.
Well, you wonder whether it's intimidation, frustration, or just the fact of great Ohio State defense in this situation. Watch Major Harris. Doesn't really get set. Throws the ball. The receiver tips it up. And there it is, number 37, William White makes the grab.
Ball is at midfield, and this is the worst field position Ohio State has had. William White obviously thrilled, and why not? He is a senior co-captain out of Lima, Ohio, with the first interception of the new season. Workman and Cooper the setbacks. Tom Tupa is going to think this quarterbacking business is not too difficult at all. He's had outstanding field position twice inside the 35, and now at the 50, and now we have had our first penalty.
Personal foul after the run back. First and 25.
It is marked off by Jim Kemmerling, and we are told it is a personal foul after the exchange of the football. So it is first down and 25 from a 35.
Those clubs receiving awards are on the scoreboard.
Wide to the right, Ross to the left. Tupa back to throw. Has the time, and the ball is knocked down in the backfield. It looked like Chris Parker knocked it down. The officials for the day, we've mentioned Jim Kemmerling quite a bit. Dave Hicks is the umpire. Jim Augustine is the head linesman. James Twitty, the line judge. The field judge is Dick Honig. Side judge, Vince Sigarzi. And Bill Carollo is the back judge. Second down.
Tom Tupa has excellent height at 6'5", but this time Dale Parker, number 93, gets up in the air, perfectly timing the ball, and knocks it away.
That's Dale Jackson.
I said, you're right. I think Chris Parker and Dale Jackson.
Here is Tupa on a little forward pitch to George Cooper. And Cooper gets out near the 45-yard line. Before he is wrestled down there, coming up to make the tackle, Chris Herring. They think a lot of that sophomore from Pueblo, Colorado. And some have even compared the sophomore to what Sam Huff was like at West Virginia. That is so crazy. Third down and long to go. Ohio State has gained 8 yards rushing, 30 yards passing, 38 yards total. West Virginia gained 6 yards. That was on the run by A.B. Brown. And that's all they had, and he fumbled the football. There's been like an audible from Tuba, and coming in motion here is Everett Ross. And Tom still has the football. Drops back, arches it out of bounds. Everett double covered at the 35-yard line, and Ohio State will have to kick the ball away. So it slowed down West Virginia, but this time the Buckeyes cannot capitalize. Hurt a great deal by the 15-yard penalty.
That rollout pass by Tupa, even though it was incomplete, illustrates what Tupa gives Ohio State that they did not have. He's more mobile, has greater flexibility. He can roll out, get away from the pressure, and throw a pass.
Now, guess who's coming in to do the punting? Tom Tupa. That's how he stayed on this squad. Not as a quarterback. He was good enough, but he was a better punter, averaging nearly 44 yards for his career. He is Ohio State's best punter ever. Deep is Harvey Smith. Line drive this time, and Smith takes the ball at the 16-yard line. May have a chance here. Tries to get outside. Oh, no chance at all. No chance at all. Ridden down very quickly by number 90, Fred Ritter, the lineman turned linebacker. Now West Virginia will try to get something. It has been a frustrating day for the Mountaineers. Arizona State, winners of the Rose Bowl, are in Champaign, Illinois, and will meet the Fighting Illini tonight. You'll see it on most of these stations on the Big Ten Television Network at 7 o'clock. First down. Here comes Talley swinging out of the wishbone. Hand off there and out to the 25-yard line. West Virginia. And a flag is down. Craig Taylor was the ball carrier, but a flag is down.
Chris Spielman and Mike Sullivan.
A face mask against Ohio State. Spielman and Sullivan made the stop. And this is another big one coming up against the Buckeyes. Grantis Bell, a junior wide receiver out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, #1, checks into the lineup.
Ohio penalty.
Ohio State defensively, Holloman, they didn't expect him to have
Against the defense.
Chance to play again after his knee in the Alabama game last year, but he's back. Sullivan and McReady across the forward wall. The linebackers, McRae, Ritter, Spielman, and Kumaro. How about that? And Jackson White, who made the interception, Brogan, and David Brown, who was second-team Big Ten all last year. Whoops, and maybe did they get drawn offside? Mike Sullivan was the man who wanted to get there. This is the first game for Ohio State. On offense, they haven't shown it too much, but they've been guilty on defense, and the way they're walking back, it's going to be their third penalty. And that'll make it 1st and 5 for West Virginia, which trailing 10-0. Will take anything they can get. 10-0, remember. And
We have a dead ball.
11 minutes, 17 seconds to go.
Against
First
the
quarter.
defense. First down.
Bell comes wide to the right. Smith wide to the left. Major Harris, the redshirt freshman quarterback, hands off to his tailback. And AB gets nothing at all.
Jim, one of the things that West Virginia really wants to accomplish early in the ball game, which they've not been able to do, is to really give Ohio State a lot of different looks. The wishbone does one thing to the defense, cause them to become more conservative, to be a little bit more cautious in their calls. Now they're giving them I formation, different things, making them stretch to try to keep them off tempo the entire first quarter. They've got to with a 10-0 deficit.
2nd down, 4 to go from a 36. And again, the tailback, A.B. Brown. And strung out, and down he goes with Spielman again on the tackle. This man is something else. His father was a high school football coach, Sonny Spielman. And
Chris Spielman really is an outstanding linebacker. Every coach that I've ever talked to about Chris Spielman says that he plays with such intensity, finds a way to find the ball carrier. And in the year last year in '86, where we saw the media-created linebackers like Brian Bosworth, Chris Spielman is a self-made college football linebacker.
He started the season only 54 behind Tom Cousineau for the all-time leading tackler, and he's had a couple today. 3rd and short. Oh, what a job done there. That was Ray Holloman. They thought his knee was absolutely gone after the kickoff classic last year against Alabama, but it felt better and better and better, and he stopped A.B. Brown shy of the first down when A.B. only had about a yard to go. 4th down. And now Lance Carrion. And he himself is a rather good punter. Had to punt in the rain last week. Well, I gave him that accolade, and he'll get something out of this anyway. And still on his feet and returning is Ross, number 5. Everett Ross gets the ball back to the 33-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Ohio State, up by 10-0. Next week, Steve Davis and I will be in Madison, Wisconsin, Utah, and Wisconsin. And tonight, remember, on most of these stations on the Big Ten Football Network, you will see Arizona State in their game with the Fighting Illini, who are playing at home after that disturbing loss to North Carolina last week. Now, both Ross and Cute go wide to the right. Tom Tupa talking to them. And here's the Mitch Wortman getting out to about the 39-yard line. Stacy Smith made the stop. Let's go down to Gene Washington.
Yeah, Jim, it seems to me that Ohio State is playing very, very well. It's very evident that West Virginia is a little nervous right now. So this has been the key so far.
Nervousness. We know something about that when you come in before 90,000 people. Both Clift and Ross go wide to the right. Tupa on 2nd down and dragging in George Cooper. Big, powerful man, 6'2", 246. And they really had to wrestle with him, and wrestling with him with Chris Herring, number 49, and Brad Hunt. Flag down on the play one more time.
There's George Cooper. The coaches of Ohio State exceptionally pleased with the way he came back. He was down a little bit in his weight. He was a little bit quicker. He was prepared. He's a converted tailback to fullback, and really has made all the difference this year in the preseason.
We have a 5-yard face mask against the defense.
Face mask called. 1st down, Ohio State.
Let's see if we can pick up where the face mask is. It's inadvertent. There it is, right there as he's trying to make the tackle. The hand, well, there's not so inadvertent. There were 2 of them. First contact with him, and then the second. He got it twice.
8.5 minutes to go. First quarter, 10-0 Ohio State. Again, both wide receivers to the right. Ohio State's Buckeyes coming out almost as a passing team. Although, remember, Bryant has the only touchdown running. And wide open on the far side is Everett Ross. Wide open. Put down over there by Stacy Smith, the strong side safety, number 4. Ross went down and out, and nobody went with him.
What I like about Tom Tupa so much is the fact that he's a cool, calm, good-looking leader. The kids around him really respond to him. He plays within his ability. He's very confident, and he has such flexibility, good arm strength. There he throws the strike to Everett Ross, and he has a dimension that Ohio State has wanted in their quarterback, and I think Earl Bruce is kind of really excited about having him this year and believes that he can be the best quarterback he's had since he's been here.
Gary Clift, 18, Anthony Coop, 22, are rotating. Oh, this time George Cooper goes nowhere. That's quite a welcome there by Dale Jackson, the linebacker.
Defensive play by...
It is second down.
Dale Jackson.
Remember, as we came on the air, Steve, you and I were talking about the fact that, well, Chris Spielman talks a lot about football because he believes and loves the game so much. They're talking about not another Big Ten title only. They're talking in terms of the national championship, and they firmly believe they've got a chance for it.
Well, they believe they've had a new attitude since the Cotton Bowl in the way of that big victory, and then coming into preseason, it's carried over, and these kids have got the right focus for a national championship run.
2 tight ends, full house backfield, first down George Cooper, down to about the 39-yard line. First down Ohio State, clock ticking away, 6:55 to go. First quarter, 10-0 Ohio State. Sellout crowd, even though the school does not get back into session for about 2 weeks. Everybody else is here, including the Ohio State band, which you'll hear some of at halftime. They came in, all of them, and have had a day and a half of practice. But as they marched out on the field today, they look like they've been practicing all summer long.
Looks like everybody showed up to me.
West Virginia just has not had a chance to show much at all. 3 turnovers have resulted in 2 scores. That is Rossi in motion, first down Ohio State from the 39-yard line, and Tupa back to throw. Under some pressure. Oh, what a catch that is. Tremendous catch by Everett Ross as he was hit by Terry White, the former All-Big Ten here at Ohio State.
One of the question marks coming into the year is whether or not they could have a big play receiver that they had in Chris Carter. Everett Ross shows a big play. Good contact, caught the ball, and then there was Terry White right on top of him. Everett Ross concentrated, went to the turf with the ball, and gives Ohio State the 1st and 10.
Ohio State, remember, on this particular drive has driven. They've got nothing free. First down at the 24. That's Ross, who just caught the pass in motion out to the left. And that is Vince Workman, the junior out of Dublin, Ohio, which is very near to Columbus, getting a couple of yards and a couple of yards only.
The tackle to Chris Herring and number 84, James Fuller.
Ohio State, West Virginia really believe the battle is up front. They're both committed to very physical front lines. Watch Brad Hunt, number 70, try to jam it up. He'll come in the picture right there. He was on the ground, then he gets his feet again and comes and makes the tackle right at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see a lot of beef moved around. The Jumbos are going to play with each other a lot today.
James Fuller, 84, is in at nose guard for David Grant. And Tupa's back to pass on second and long. And for Ross, who's all by himself, touchdown. 23 yards. 2 men back there, but none of them close enough. He was behind them both. And Tupa has shown that he is a Big Ten and big league quarterback.
If there was ever any question, at least this is a little early, but Tom Tupa shows his ability to set in there, throw a perfect strike. Look at the touch of the ball, of being able to lay it gracefully over the defenders to Everett Ross, knowing exactly where he is on the field for the touchdown.
And now Matt Franstad, the extra point. West Virginia has to get in gear, even at 10-0. That was bad enough. And it looks as though in a moment it's going to be 17-0, and they've never had a chance to show offense except on one drive, and they're thwarted there. All right. We'll be back with more Big Ten football in just a moment. The rain has stopped here at Ohio Stadium, but the drive of Ohio State has not. They lead West Virginia 17-0. Yeah.
Not the motion. I said the touch on the ball. Being able
I'm
to put
talking about Harris.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thank you, David. And, of course, Tennessee pulled off that 96-yard interception of a pitch out against Iowa in the kickoff classic, another Big Ten team. Well, here comes Panama again, and Talley goes back deep again. They get the ball, and West Virginia hopes that for the first time they get something going before this gets totally out of hand. 5:32 to go, first quarter, and it is still a big Ohio State lead of 17-0. Of course, most of the fans here are enjoying the heck out of this because this is their team. A short kick this time, and it is taken by Talley at the 8-yard line. Across the 20, looking for running room, and is caught from behind as he crosses the 30 to about the 35-yard line. I'll avoid Mays.
He tackled by Sean Bill.
Look at this. That is Mike Timko, the senior quarterback, warming up on the sidelines just in case he gets called on.
By John Talley.
Major Harris. And it's not all his fault. He's not been able to get this team going. Undra Johnson is now in there. Here's Harris back for his second throw. He's going to be caught from behind. And caught from behind he is by the best pass rusher at Ohio State, Eric Kumerow, who had 9 tackles for losses last year when he was all Big Ten, and that's his first of this year.
Well, when the coaches start describing Eric Kumerow, the fact he was a former quarterback, he has excellent abilities in terms of physical skills, 4.7 speed, 32-inch vertical jump, but it's his pass rush ability, his ability to get away from people, keep him away from his feet, find the quarterback, and make the play.
Now it is second down and 17 to go. And there's a pretty good run there by Undra Johnson, and he got a lot of that back. And some more as he gets across the 35-yard line. The mark at the 37 for Greg Rogan, a senior out of Urbana, made the stop.
You have to empathize right now with Don Neyland. He's not been able to establish his running attack, his game plan at all. They're having to play catch-up now. The wishbone is not traditionally considered a catch-up, so now they've got their freshman quarterback in the I formation, what they did not want to have.
Third down, 5 to go. Major Harris back to throw. Throws, has his man, but it is intercepted and then dropped. Spielman got the ball. Flags go down. Spielman dropped the ball, and it was recovered by Ohio State's Ritter. But let's see what the flags are.
Intercepted by Chris Spielman.
Watch Spielman. Chris just has tremendous ability to find where the ball's going to go. He understands his drops, his role as a linebacker. He has the feel. There's the tackle that frees the ball away from Spielman, and the opportunistic Fred Ritter again making the play and the recovery.
We're still waiting for the referee to tell us what it was. It is clipping call against Ohio State, so the turnover remains. That is the 4th turnover in the game. And, folks, that's the 4th turnover, of course, in the first quarter. Incredible. Ohio State in its first game, almost flawless. And West Virginia in its second game, going back to the 5 fumbles they had last week, plus 3 of those they lost.
Ohio State's a football team.
On the offense, during the run back, first down.
Ohio State's a football team that will beat you anyway. They don't need a lot of help, but when you give them this type of help, that many opportunities, you know, West Virginia's really lucky the score's not worse than 17-0.
First down, put the ball back at the 28-yard line. Earl Bruce has to like what he sees.
Boy, I like that outfit Coach is wearing today.
Everett Ross wide to the right. He has caught a touchdown pass. Workman the tailback. Cooper the man up front. And Anthony Cute is the flanker. And here's Vince Workman trying to get some running room outside and does not. Good defensive play. They really stacked him up. That was Pickett who made the tackle. Let's go to our studios and Dave Dials.
Defensive play by Robert Pickett.
Jeff Francis, 39-yard scoring pass to Reggie Cobb, and Johnny Majors Volunteers bolt in front of Mississippi State 7-0, 9:14 left first quarter.
Johnny Majors has something going, and Earl Bruce has something here at Ohio State. Why not? They shared the Big Ten title. They clobbered Texas A&M, a good Texas A&M team in the Cotton Bowl, and here they are with a big start over rival West Virginia. Ball at the 26-yard line, second down, and 12 to go. Tupa now running up the middle. He can run a little bit, and now goes down at the 35-yard line, shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and maybe 3 yards to go.
One of the reasons that Earl Bruce is probably smiling a lot is just the fact of Tom Tupa on the impromptu play. When he gets forced out of the pocket, he can't find an open receiver. Watch his flexibility. Good height, 6'5", but he's got excellent mobility. He can run the option. He can make people miss him. And then one thing they're going to teach him here at Ohio State, go to the baseball coaches and learn how to slide.
They don't want anything to happen to Tom Tupa. Not only is he talented, but he is the only quarterback on the Ohio State roster with college playing experience. Behind him, there is nothing. 3rd down and 3. 2 tight ends in again, and again a full house backfield on short yardage. Hand off, and they're going to make something out of it. No, good forcing tackle by Terry White. Terry White, and we'll repeat again because it was kind of an unusual way that he left this ball club and enrolled at West Virginia. To speak with the coach, just stacked up the play, and it's 4th down, and now Tupa will be back to punt for the 2nd time. Going deep is Harvey Smith. We are still in the 1st quarter. We still have 2 minutes to go, but there's 17 points on that scoreboard for the Buckeyes. And there have been 4 turnovers by West Virginia, which has 9 men up front. Tupa drills it, driving Smith back. Smith will watch it hit, and it goes into the end zone, and so will come out to the 20-yard line. Oh, here comes West Virginia again, down by 17. 1:42 to go in misty, rainy Columbus, Ohio. Back at Ohio State in Columbus, Jim Simpson, Steve Davis, Gene Washington, and it is all Big Ten on this first day of the Big Ten Football Television Network. Ohio State out in front by the score of 17-0. It is still Major Harris at quarterback. Harris handing off to his running back, Andre Johnson, and Johnson gets out across the 25 before David Brown drags him down along with Fred Ritter.
West Virginia's had success when they've moved, when they've really kept a hold of the football, so it's not a matter of not being able to move the ball. They're just not hanging on to it.
Temple trailing Boston College 7-0 1st quarter. And Maryland, which lost to Syracuse, leading Virginia 7-0. Virginia had a big lead over Georgia and lost last week. The up back, and that is Craig Taylor, and he gets a yard or so, does not get the 1st down. Chris Spielman is right there to knock him up, and Ray Holloman was the guy down at the bottom.
Fred Ritter last year, number 90, was the nose guard. Now he's the stand-up. See what happens. He gets hung up. Let go, guys. The play is dead. Wait a minute. Whoa! There's one that missed.
And here's the rain that has come here. Weather forecast, we love weathermen, but it was for cloudy today with the rain having moved out.
I'm getting cloudy all over my board.
That's right. 3rd down. That is Grantis Bell, who is in motion. And here's Major Harris. He was throwing in the rain a week ago. Now this fella can run and decides to throw. And that is Grantis Bell. And I think that he dropped the football as he took a big hit from guess who? Chris Spielman. Oh, it is 4th down. This is the only thing that's gone wrong in Columbus, Ohio for the Buckeyes today, the rain. Everything else has gone exactly right.
Well, the bigger part of the story, though, is the frustration if you're West Virginia, 17 down, having to play catch-up in conditions like this. You're going to have to throw the ball or run the wishbone. Both need dry fields and dry ball.
Lance Carrion had a horrible kick last time. That's Everett Ross deep. This is Lance Carrion. But he got a good roll out of it. Driving rain. And I don't want to say it looks as though it's going to pass over soon because I'm usually wrong. Here's Carrion. Again, a low kick. And this is Ross at the 29-yard line. And look at him get down the sideline. Fine play by Everett Ross, who's caught a long touchdown pass for one of the scores today. 23 yards from Tupa.
The tackle on the play by number 18, Lance Carrion.
11 seconds to go in this wild first quarter.
20-yard return.
And Don Nealon has his hands full. Not only in attempting to win this ball game, but to keep his team together. They can leave here thoroughly demoralized and have to go back and play at Maryland next week. To the right, it looks clear. To the left, it doesn't. And where we are, it is raining. Cube wide to the right. Ross comes to the left. Ball at the 49-yard line of Ohio State. could be the last play of the first quarter. The up man, and that's their fullback, George Cooper. And Cooper gets a couple of yards, and that will apparently swing things around as time is running out in the first quarter. That is all Buckeyes and all frustration for West Virginia. 4 turnovers, 3 of which have resulted in either touchdowns or a field goal. At the end of the first quarter, Ohio State 17, West Virginia nothing. Quarter 27 for West Virginia. But to show you how times have changed, to Ohio State 77 of those 109 yards through the air. It is 2nd down and 7, the ball at the 47-yard line of West Virginia. Ohio State's got the ball, and that is Workman getting inside the 45 down to about the 43-yard line. Tackle made there by Chris Herring, the inside linebacker. These are some of the numbers we were talking about. 5 first downs for Ohio State. They didn't need too many. They got 2 times. They got the ball well in West Virginia territory. You can see the rushing yardage and the balance of time of possession. You'd think it's not a 17-0 football game, but it is.
The only stat that matters right there is really the 4 turnovers by West Virginia, giving Ohio State the opportunity to put the 17 points on the board.
Rain has stopped. Looks like the sun is coming out. West Virginia would be pardoned if they hope so. The fake to Cooper, the pitch back to Workman, and strung out nicely there. A fine play by Bo Orlando, the junior out of Berwick, Pennsylvania, number 22.
Again, showing another dimension that Tom Tupa has as a quarterback to run the option, causes defense to have to prepare for it. Just another dimension that a quarterback that has multiple talents causes frustrations for the defense. Boy, he's got to be frustrated.
We have an inadvertent whistle. We'll replay the down.
So there was a whistle. That play does not count, as you heard our referee say. So let's go back to 3rd down. West Virginia's kind of sorry that was an inadvertent whistle. It would have been 4th down, shy of the 1st down. Ohio State next week plays Oregon here, then has a biggie down at LSU. Third down, short to go. Tupa's got the ball, and another play by the same man. Bo Orlando, who made the tackle last time, makes the tackle of Tupa, not taking the fake at all. It's 4th down. There's Orlando right there, number 22. And so Tupa will kick once again. Now here's something, Steve. He's kicking for the 3rd time in just a little bit more than a quarter. You would think that Ohio State's not having any success at all, but indeed they are. Terry White, the Ohio State player of other years, now with West Virginia, steps back to about his 10-yard line. Figuring if it goes over his head, it's going to be in the end zone, come out to the 20 anyway. Here's Tupa, taking it straight and short. And White calls for a fair catch. Oh, he gets hit. Takes a big bump there. From number 37, William White, no relation. And I don't see a flag. Whether or not they're going to throw a flag or not, say it's inadvertent. He just couldn't stop himself.
No, he didn't call for the fair catch, so he's giving the 2-yard cushion, and then you can hit him after he's made the catch. No, what? You got to give him 2 yards to catch the ball. He takes the knee, but not the fair catch sign. You better learn to put the hand up too, because the knee doesn't give you anything, doesn't protect you.
It did not on that occasion anyway.
Well, he was trying to go down. He was trying to go down, but it didn't happen that way.
Well, we have a new quarterback coming in for West Virginia, Mike Timko, the senior. 4 for 4 passing the ball with a hurry-up offense last week against Ohio U. They'd better hurry up here, although they do have almost 3 quarters to go. Talley comes wide to the left, and Harvey Smith goes to the right. First time we've seen the senior quarterback. Timko handing off, and look at this big hole there for Andre Johnson, who gets across the 20 to the 22. It is 2nd down and about 5 to go. Next week, again, Steve Davis and I will be in Madison, Wisconsin. Beautiful little city, Utah and Wisconsin. And then next Saturday night, Chris Schenkel and Frank Broyles will be California and Minnesota up in Minneapolis, St. Paul. That's on the Big Ten Network. 10 Saturdays to go here in the afternoon. Swinging out of the backfield is Talley, with Timko handing off to his fullback Taylor, and Taylor gets the first down. Good play. And now Timko seems to have added some presence and some command to the backfield and to the line of West Virginia.
Mike's a veteran. He's a senior quarterback. He started 13 times for West Virginia in the past. He's got a little bit more comfort factor. He's a little bit out of his element running the wishbone attack, but they're not running a true wishbone. It's the formation that's more important for West Virginia, trying to make Ohio State be a little bit more conservative in their style of play.
First down from a 30-yard line. Talley, the man in motion, and Timko back to throw. Gets the ball out there, and he's intercepted, and there's that man, Spielman again. And that's the 5th turnover. Double covered. Spielman read where Timko was going to throw all the way and just stepped in front.
I can never remember a game where you had 5 turnovers so early in the football game. Watch Timko this time. He's got plenty of time to throw it. Spillman perfectly timed, stepping in front of the intended receiver, Andre Johnson, and makes another great play.
Timko on one play, the handoff. The team looked good. But on that play, the Ohio State defense read his eyes, apparently, Steve Davis, very well, and Spielman was right on the ball almost as soon as he released the ball. He was there.
Well, it's very difficult to camouflage. You're going to throw the ball in the wishbone, and you don't send out multiple receivers. They don't go generally multiple depths, and that time Spielman read it and made the play.
First string backfield, Workman, he has thrown before, and he's going to throw again. He puts it up a chance here, and Everett Ross is sealed off there by Preston Waters. I thought Waters might have a chance to get back for the interception.
That's a classic Earl Bruce move. They've had the turnover, and so many coaches do it. When you have a turnover, you've got great field position, first down play. Try to get something big, not a cheap touchdown, but make something happen early and really make the turnover cost you. Good fake by Workman. Pull it up. I really thought Everett Ross might have been pushing a little bit, but the official was right on top of it.
17-0. The story, of course, pregame, the loss of Chris Carter, but Earl Bruce and the Buckeyes have come out throwing anyway, and Tupa's 6 of 9 for 77 yards and a 23-yard touchdown pass to Everett Ross, who is in motion. Second down, and that is Workman, and Workman's got some running room and is finally tripped up. Tripped up by Willie Edwards, the junior cornerback out of Morgantown, West Virginia. And that's a first down, Ohio State, leading as they are by 17.
Both backs came back in excellent condition. George Cooper, 44, was down a little bit in weight. Workman, they felt like needed to get a little bit bigger, and he did. Preseason, both had exceptional preseason drills, and the coaches were so excited about the punch of Cooper and Workman running the football for Ohio State.
Cube to the left, Ross to the right. Remember, Cube and Clift alternate bringing in plays. Taking a lot of time now.
Change in the play.
Got 4 seconds to get this off. Gives the ball to Workman. Workman wrestled down as he gets to the 16-yard line. Tackle made back there by number 98, David Grant.
Tom Tupa has such excellent presence on the field. He has control of what's going on. The players around him very much respond to him. He was able he saw the defense. He did not like it. He took his time, made the call, watched the clock, knew that it was getting down to the end of the 25-second period, made the call within 25 seconds, snapped the ball, and had the play.
2 tight ends in there now, Higdon and Likovich, the red shirt freshman. Ross, the lone wide receiver, wide to the right. They have given the ball to Vince Workman, and he's got no place to go. Willie Edwards and Lonnie Brockman, sophomore out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 10:45 to go on a humid, sticky afternoon. Temperature in the low 70s here in Columbus, Ohio. But everything is coming up roses for the Buckeyes thus far. And Morgantown's pride, the University of West Virginia, had better start doing something, but they can't do that till they get the football, and they got to stop Ohio State again. Putting 2 wide receivers to the same side, Ross and Cute, both far to the right. Now Ross starts it going. Running is George Cooper, and that's too many people in motion. That's going to be a legal procedure there, and then knock them back 5 yards. Cooper was running, and Ross was running, and the ball hadn't been snapped.
Dave Dials mentioned in our pregame show a little bit about the respect that Earl Bruce may or may not have gotten here at Ohio State. But one of the things...
False start against the offense. Third down.
I don't want to talk over the official, but I really believe Earl Bruce, after they got the season underway last year outside of the Kickoff Classic and playing Washington, he really brought a team and himself, I think, to coaching prominence in terms of what he did, because they really rallied and they became an exceptional football team last year.
Bobby Olive, a walk-on, is the man in motion now, a freshman out of Atlanta. He can fly. Not too big, but can he fly? Here's Tupa, and he's not going to get the ball away. And there's the best individual play of the day, and it's that same man again, Bo Orlando, the free safety, blitzing on the play, and that's the biggest defensive play or offensive play for West Virginia all day. Might give some spark to the Mountaineers, because now it's going to be 4th down, and they've got about 37 yards to go.
There you saw 22 Bo Orlando coming from the outside, from this side of the field. He really has to make something happen. If he can give them the emotion, they'll take it, I'm sure. He plays both free safety and strong safety. A strong kid. The coaches love him. They say he's a classic college football player.
Rain has started again. Tupa in again. And Terry White back again to receive the kick. 9:18 to go. Ohio State up by 17, but thwarted there by the Mountaineers, who have not thrown in the towel.
I don't think you can mark the defense as the problem today.
No, sir. Not with 5 turnovers against their offense. Here's Tupa. Barely gets it away. And now you see the fair catch called, but it's back at the 7-yard line. So Morgan State is going to start, Morgantown is going to start its team. West Virginia deep in the hole. We'll be back with more 10 football in just a moment. 8:59 in the first half remain on the scoreboard. Ohio State 17, West Virginia nothing. It will be Mike Timko coming out to run this ball club. 5 turnovers have just absolutely shut down the Mountaineers. They trail by 17. Talley wide to the right, and Harvey Smith to the left. And now Talley comes in motion. They'll give it to their fullback, and their tailback, rather. Spielman again makes the big stop. Andre Johnson barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Spielman is going to overtake Tom Cousineau. Can't do it in this game. Needed 54 as the all-time Ohio State tackler. But it seems like he's at about 54 already. That's a gross exaggeration. But remember when they had that loss to Michigan when they missed the field goal? Well, he had 29 tackles in that Michigan game last year. Calvin Phillips is in. Timko back, handing it off, and looking for some running room is Andre Johnson, and he is shut down in a hurry. Shut down by Mike McRae, the junior out of Dayton, Ohio. Plays the outside linebacker spot, number 99. Oregon State and Georgia 7-all. Georgia had a tough time last week with Virginia, but came from behind and still ranked 20th. And Maryland and Virginia scoring 14-7. Virginia was the team in front of Georgia last week, only to lose. Ball back at the 7, so it is 3rd down. Still 10 to go. Grantis Bell is in, wide to the right. Timko throwing from his own end zone will air this one out. Intended here for Harvey Smith, and it's just overthrown everybody at about the 47-yard line of Ohio State. Rogan back there. And now we've got a man down for West Virginia at the goal line. First time we've had a man injured. And looked like he was injured in pass protecting for Mike Timko. And I can't quite see his number. It looks like Bob Kovac, who was the strongest man on the team, the junior out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, the right guard, number 55. But strength doesn't mean anything when they get down around your ankle or knee. 7:41 to go. We're in the first half at Rady, Columbus, Ohio. It is all the Buckeyes. 5 turnovers have helped them to a 17-0 lead. 7:41 to go. First half, 17-0 Ohio State. And Lance Carrion wants a better punt than he's had all day long. He is standing deep in his own end zone as Bob Kovac is helped off the field. Everett Ross is deep, but he's only at the 45-yard line of West Virginia. Ohio State's got 10 men up front, and Carrion gets the ball away. And Ross will have a chance for a return, taking it at the 47-yard line. And he's lost the football, and it looks like Ohio. No, it looks like West Virginia. First of all, it was lost by West Virginia and then by an Ohio State man, and Stacy Smith jumped on it, and that's the first turnover for Ohio State.
tough weather conditions. He just got the ball away from him. He was stopping. The ball got away. Slick ball. And then he was able to, Stacy Smith was able to fall on it. Let's see, I don't think anybody touched it. The officials try to keep his dry football. Well, he gets it away from him. He doesn't have both hands on the football, and there he's trying to grab it. And now it's a greased ball, and it's wet. And Stacy Smith will find it.
Outstanding field position, Steve Davis, for West Virginia. Let's see what they can do. Kicking from their own end zone, now have first down at midfield. Talley wide to the right, and Smith wide to the left. And Timko fakes the handoff. Timko's going to air it out, going down the sideline, but it's going to be toward the Ohio State man, as Talley was running a route to the inside, and the ball was thrown to the outside. And the closest man to it was number 37, William White of Ohio State. Second down. Bob Kovac, that ankle, cut the tape off and go to work. And the report we got, one of his own men fell on him. Grantis Bell is in, replacing Talley, and is wide to the right. Second down, and this is on. Oh, fine play! Look at the play there. Getting up, thrilled with the whole idea is Mike McRae, the junior, making his first start of his career at Ohio State. And it's third down, 11 to go. There's McRae, 6'3", 221, from nearby Dayton, Ohio. Was a red shirt, now a junior, but this is his first start. 6 Ohio State players are making their first start today. 6:50 to go, first half, 17-0 Ohio State. Now they show us a full house wishbone type backfield. West Virginia, they did a lot of that early on. Timko's going to throw if he gets the chance, and he's not going to get the chance. Lost the football, and it is picked up fortunately by Kevin Koken, the center of West Virginia. Could have been the 6th turnover for West Virginia. And if you say it's raining and that's the reason, the first couple of turnovers happened before the rains came.
Well, I think what the key is really is that he gets the ball away from him, and it's those red jerseys that have more to do with it than the weather. I mean, find a place to hide right there. And fortunately, the bounce came right this time for West Virginia as the center, Kevin Koken, 57, found it.
Unable to do anything about it. Carrion kicks the ball away, very nearly blocked, but this is driving Everett Ross back, takes it inside the 15. Now he's inside the 10. Trying to get outside, shows some speed, gets outside, and is bumped outside. Bumped outside by number 97, Lonnie Brockman, a reserve linebacker for West Virginia. And there's a flag back at the 31-yard line, and everybody's walking back. And we will see what this is. They were very close to Carrion as he got the kick away. Maybe they ran into him. We'll wait for Jim Kemmerling. But here comes West Virginia back on the field with their offense. Well, obviously that's what it is. Let's listen to Jim.
Roughing the kicker, personal foul, first down, 15 yards.
Must have been a blatant penalty. Let's see what happens. Well, he's extended pretty good. Yeah, it is. Right across him. College football rules this year. Continuing effort to try to protect players and protect the integrity of the game. That time, it wasn't an act. He was trying to... You got to stay away from getting hit.
Zach Dumas, an exuberant cornerback, is the man who made the hit. Andre Johnson gets a couple of tough yards. But West Virginia has moved into now, by virtue of the penalty in that play there, Ohio State territory. 6. Well, that's about the only thing that has stopped Ohio State today. 6 penalties, 60 yards. Wide to the left. It's Calvin Phillips looking for some running room under Johnson. Boy, he broke one tackle, but not the second. The tackle made there by Ray Jackson, the strong side safety, or as they call him here at Ohio State, a rover. Last couple of years, he was a cornerback, but now he's been moved to rover. Takes the ball back to the 47-yard line.
Ray Jackson's his first year to start. This time, the play to try to get outside the power out of the wishbone formation. And what Ohio State does is just stretch it out where, see, he can't turn up field, so he just keeps stretched out, and he can't turn up field, and there Ray Jackson grabs him around the ankle.
Down 17-0. West Virginia faced with a third down and 13 to go. And Timko back to throw. And this is going to be near an Ohio State man, and it's going to be intercepted for yet another turnover, and that is White. Bell was the intended receiver, and White picked it off. And Timko kept his eyes on Bell the whole time. The Ohio State defense knew that's where he was going to throw the football.
They put Bell in motion, number 1, and so he's the only receiver to that side. And Timko never looks anywhere else, never looks him off. And William White, 37, just follows the ball down the field. It actually looked like the pass was designed for William White. And then he has the ability to run with the ball and do something after he makes the catch.
6th time that they've turned the ball over. 2nd time William White has intercepted. Back with more Big Ten football in just a moment. The score in Columbus, 17-0. Ohio State leads West Virginia.
Here on Channel 11.
Right, his 2nd interception of the day. Senior Lima. First down. And here's Tupa back to throw, and that's for Anthony Coop, and he's made a catch out near the 35-yard line.
This is again illustrates Tom Tupa's ability in terms of his confidence. Great offensive effort. Nobody's really around him. He rolls, short roll, good throw, tight spiral on the football, and throws a strike to Tony Coop, the freshman. He has big play potential in terms of being at the receiver spot, and they're really excited about what he may add to the receiver corps for Ohio State.
First down from a 35-yard line, 17-0 Ohio State. Tupa remains in there with Cooper, and he gives the ball to Cooper, who picks up a couple of yards, and that is about all. You can see down in the bottom there, Brad Hunt, the big senior tackle. 3:49 left. This is a day that you might associate more with August than September. It is so humid, so overcast and misty. Everett Ross, the junior out of Columbus, comes out. And West Virginia tries to regroup along the sidelines. 6 turnovers for West Virginia. 3 of those have cost them in scores. The others didn't help them, of course. Tupa back to throw all the way. Has the time. Loops it out here. Headed for Olive and almost intercepted by Bo Orlando, who's having an outstanding game on defense. Number 22, the junior out of Berwick, Pennsylvania.
Number 22, Bo Orlando.
Bobby Olive. I asked Ohio State officials, how does a freshman, 155 pounds, walk on at Ohio State and very nearly earn the starting berth, although Everett Ross obviously has solidified that position today? Well, Bobby Olive's father is a friend of Billy Hill, who's one of the trainers here, and he was never recruited or drafted, and Billy Hill said, why don't you have to come up here and go to school and see if you can make it? And he has. 3rd down and 8 to go. Number 37. Down and out to Ross, picks up the first down. In all fairness to West Virginia, after those 3 quick scores as a result of now 6 turnovers, the Buckeyes have not been moving the ball that well. Here's Ross.
The quick throwing game of Ohio State. Tupa and Ross are just doing everything. Remember, the 2 keys for Ohio State today were the quarterback play and the receiver play. That was the 2 real question marks. Well, I think in those 2 players, Tupa and Ross, it's been a very positive and favorable answer.
Ross wide to the left. Cliff comes to the right. John Peterson, a freshman, is making his first appearance as an Ohio State at right tackle today. Vince Workman trailed, but he picks up good yardage. Workman gets across the 50-yard line, and it looks as though Higdon got up hobbling a little bit as he came out of that huddle. Herring helped out on the stop, number 49. 2nd down in the last 3 minutes of the first half. There was a big tribute today, lengthy tribute to Woody Hayes, who passed away this past spring, who was the head coach here for 28 years. Earl Bruce enters his 9th year. And I'll give you an Earl Bruce statistic in a moment. 2nd down and about 6. Tupa, that little push pass in there to Cooper, and they're yelling, "Coop, Coop." And Coops got the first down inside the 40. Earl Bruce, and you were saying, Steve Davis, that he's not exactly accepted here. In the 8 years that he has been here, he's got the best winning record in the Big Ten. I mean, that's, what else can he do?
Oh, I think he's been accepted. There's no doubt about that. I think that, and maybe in Coach Bruce's mind, there may be a concern. I don't think it's a matter of being accepted. No, he proved himself to so many coaches last year and what he was able to do with the Ohio State Buckeye football team, and he is very much respected in terms of being a winner and turning things around. He didn't have to here, but he sure put him on the winning way.
First down from a 37. Tuba back to throw on first down, and no, not this time. The ball was not handled. They intended for Clift, and a big hit put on him by Darnell Warren, the inside linebacker, sophomore to McKeesport. It is second down. Well, remember, Earl Bruce came within a missed field goal of being sole possessor of the Big Ten title and a better record in the Big Ten than what he had. That was the only loss he had in the Big Ten after opening losses to Alabama and Washington. Don Nehlen, on the other hand, not to interrupt, had his team in 4 straight bowl games and then came up 4-7 last year, his worst record ever, and he's trying to improve this year. Won last week, having a tough afternoon. Second down 10. Workman in motion. Tupa loves to throw. Why not? Waited all his time, and he's got Workman there, but it is intercepted. Yet another turnover, this time by Willie Edwards, the junior out of Morgantown, inside the 5-yard line. 6 turnovers now for West Virginia, and here comes another one for Ohio State.
You'll remember in the first quarter on the touchdown pass to Ross that Tom had such touch on the football. This time he waits too long. The route's fully developed already. He doesn't throw with quite the velocity, and it's just too short, and he's trying to force the ball. Doesn't work.
Back for the final 1:57 of the first half in a moment. Ohio State 17, West Virginia nothing. Problems that West Virginia has had all came, scoring-wise, in the first 17.5 minutes of this half. Since 12:21 to go, West Virginia has held its own. There's been no score by either team. There's a mix-up there. 1:57 to go. West Virginia starting inside its own 5-yard line. Major Harris started, tried to get a wishbone going, could not work. This is a legal procedure against West Virginia. Looked like Brian Smider might have jumped. You heard from John Cooper, the Arizona State coach, before the game. Now the Illinois coach, Mike White, who plays John Cooper's Arizona State team tonight, will be on with Dave Dowds at halftime. Dave will also have scoring updates from those games around the country. We'll come back here for the Ohio State marching band. It is a good one. And first half highlights, I guess they might include some turnovers. The up man hardly gets across the goal line and back to the line of scrimmage. Clock is running down, 1:50, but they only have one more play, and Ohio State's going to do a smart thing in call time. Hold them there at 1:49 to go now and stop that clock so they could run one more play, and Ohio State would undoubtedly get the ball in West Virginia territory and try to add one more. Remember, Oregon comes to town next week for Ohio State. West Virginia goes on the road at Maryland. And Davis and Simpson go on the road, along with Gene Washington, out to Madison, Wisconsin, Utah, and Wisconsin at noon Eastern time next week on the Big Ten Football Network. This has been an auspicious day. When you look around, there was the Iowa loss to Tennessee in the Big Ten. Michigan State went up against Southern Cal. Southern Cal was in it, but Michigan State won going away 27-13. And now here's Ohio State putting its best foot forward. And a little bit later today, it is going to be Michigan and Notre Dame. There is Chris Carter. Can't play. Has been drafted in the supplemental draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. And since the Eagles play tomorrow, I guess Chris is not playing tomorrow.
I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think if Buddy Ryan would say, go out and see the team.
I wonder how Chris Carter really feels, though. He's filed suit against the agents that were involved. You know, in his heart, he knows he made a mistake. In some ways, may be missing it.
Wishbone. Johnson gets the ball out to the 4-yard line, and Ohio State probably will call timeout again. They do, stopping the clock at 1:42 and putting the pressure right back on Lance Carrion. He's got to kick it out of the end zone. We'll be back with more Big Ten football in just a moment. Score in Columbus, Ohio State 17, West Virginia nothing. And look at this. out for the first down. Coomer makes the stop of Undra Johnson. It looked for sure after the first two plays that Ohio State probably would hold, force carry the punt. They'd be in outstanding position, but West Virginia has refused to fold defensively, and now their offense gets them out of a little bit of trouble, and they'll have a chance now to run out the clock. Ohio State has but one timeout left. Remember all the scores from Dave Dials, interview with Mike White, highlights, the Ohio State man at the half. Oh, almost a misplay there at the center. Johnson is hit in the backfield by Ray Holloman, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Hi, gang. I tell you, these people come, not necessarily these specific people, but these people come to this game very, very early. Steve Davis, Gene Washington, and I left this morning thinking we'll get there before the birds get there. Wrong. Traffic jam. Held up, long walk. Hours before the game began. And the students are not even on campus. They don't start for a couple of weeks. Harvey Smith to the left, Grannis Bell to the right. On second down and long. They're running the ball all the way now, giving the ball to Johnson, and Johnson goes down, and time is now running at 42 seconds to go, and counting. What West Virginia must do, and Steve Davis is the man who will tell you the kinds of things that they might try offensively, but just as a person watching the game, what they must do is to try to get some kind of offense going. Whatever it is, they have not been able to generate anything against this defensive Ohio State. And maybe that's why coaches and Steve Davis don't want to say, what would you do? Because you just keep trying to do what you can do best and hope that Ohio State makes a mistake. Third down, but only 7 seconds to go. Last play, apparently. And this is their fullback, Craig Taylor. And that should be the end of the first half. But they've called time here with 1 second to go. Why not? They could block a kick. They could get a run back. There could be a fumble of a kick. 1 second to go at the 19-yard line. 6 turnovers by West Virginia. 2 by Ohio State. 2 interceptions by William White of Ohio State. 1 touchdown pass of 23 yards from Tupa to Everett Ross. 1 run of 7 yards by Jamie Bryant. And a field goal of 47 yards by France. That's the scoring. Later this evening, once this game is over, on most of these stations at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central, the Rose Bowl champions go to Illinois. Arizona State and Illinois, and at halftime of this game, Mike White of Illinois will be on with Dave Dials. 1 second to go. 4th down. Long consultation by officials, apparently waiting for something, and now Jim Kemmerling has got his notes in order and will be ready for the last play. Don Nealon came in here with, well, I wouldn't say exuberance and high unrealistic hopes, but the idea that his team would give them a battle, but turnovers have put him in the hole, and now Timko puts his knee down, and that is it. So we've gone through the first half, marred by turnovers, a stubborn, outstanding defense of Ohio State, and 2 touchdowns, 1 on a run and 1 on a pass, plus that field goal. Half is over. It's all Buckeyes over the Mountaineers of West Virginia. The first meeting in better than 80 years, 17-0 at the half.
The golf course, and when the Buckeyes are leading, it never rains at huge Ohio Stadium. And West Virginia, we don't know what the Mountaineers can do, because the offense hasn't gotten untracked, because every time the Mountaineers get the ball, they either cough it up on a fumble or an interception. So maybe Don Nealon can talk some sense to the Mountaineers at halftime and make more of a game of it in the second half. Right now, 17-0. Tennessee and Mississippi State playing this afternoon, and Johnny Majors wants
Stadium, Jim Simpson and Steve Davis, and it's 17-0. And the whole story, well, there are 2 stories. All of those turnovers, 6 by West Virginia, and all of that defense by Ohio State.
Well, Don Nealon's got to be one of the most frustrated men in all of Ohio today, just because of the way things have gone. It just has not gone his way. His team came out, played so sloppy. This is the second fumble of the football game. Watch right here on the play. A.B. Brown, the junior, will break into the secondary, and then he will fumble the football. Chris Spillman, helmet on the ball, pops it loose. And that's got to be right in front of Don Nealon, the frustration, and there
is Brown to make the
David Brown, number 27, will make the second
recovery, and then James Bryant. on a 7-yard run. And watch this run.
And then Tom Tupa will just the power football. Bryant will carry the ball in. Great pull there by Ohio State's left guard Jeff Davidson, and sticks Bryant into the end zone.
Well, you know, Chris Carter, we saw him here in the stands, and Chris Carter is certainly missed as an All-American wide receiver, but look at this Tupa pass to his replacement, Everett Ross.
Well, I think this shows the real character and the ability of Tom Tupa. Watch the touch on the ball to be able to lay it right over the defender, and watch Everett Ross, the guy that has to be the big play receiver to replace Chris Carter, tiptoes into the end zone for the touchdown.
All right, Steve Davis, here we are. And here is Ohio State leading by 17-0. I'm sure Earl Bruce and his assistants are saying a lot of things. But what can Don Nealon say? I would imagine it's almost regrouping and reforming his effort rather than specifics, or can he say something to get this offense going? He's turned it from Major Harris, the rookie, the redshirt freshman, over to Timko, the senior.
Well, I think the thing that you've got to focus on are the good things that have happened. The defense at times have done very well in keeping Ohio State from driving the ball the distance. They've stopped Ohio State. It's been the offensive mistake, kicking game mistakes with the frustration. So he'll emphasize the positives and say, hey, listen, guys, we have played so poorly, we can't play any worse. And then he'll start focusing on those good things. They have not established their offense. They're trying to play catch-up now. So they're not in their game plan. They're in game plan B with Timko, the quarterback. They've got to take short passes, pick up some 1st and 10s, and gain confidence that they can move the ball and do something positive consistently.
Well, we're smiling because the football season is back, but the West Virginia people we saw in the press box moments ago not smiling at all. Coming back to Columbus, Ohio on Thursday, 192 members of the Ohio State Buckeye Marching Band. They've had a day and a half to put this all together, and they put together the halftime show, and it features music from the Great White Way, Broadway. And let's enjoy our first taste of the college football season halftime.
Distinction and charm. We conclude our salute to Broadway with a song that has become an inspirational part of our daily lives. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Climb Every Mountain.
This misty, humid afternoon, and Ohio State, by virtue of 6 turnovers, has taken charge, also by virtue of a great defense. The story, as we said, coming in about Ohio State until they began the season's play was the absence of Chris Carter, the All-American wide receiver who signed and got some money with an agent and was declared ineligible. Ohio State did not ask that the case be reviewed, so he is out. Supplemental draft. He's now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, we showed you Chris Carter in the stands. Now we will show you Cris Carter on the sidelines. And Chris, I would imagine this is a very sad and poignant moment for you to be listening to me instead of having the shoulder pads on and to being playing.
Well, yes, I'd rather be out there playing, trying to contribute to the victory, but Ohio State's doing a very good job. They have an excellent football team, even without Cris Carter on the field. I'm just glad I'll be able to watch a game or so before I sign up with the Eagles and leave.
Well, Chris, we all know the lawsuit. We all know what has happened to you. But the Eagles open tomorrow against the Redskins. How come Cris Carter's here? Why aren't you with the Eagles down in Washington?
Well, basically because I haven't signed yet. And once I sign, then I have a 2-week period before they have to make a roster move or anything. Then after that, I'll be playing with the Eagles.
Chris, yeah, I know you're betwixt and between, but I must ask you this question also. And that's the question of agents. You were misled, misinformed, or whatever. There's also some talk that maybe people like yourself, football players, should get some kind of assistance. But what do you think is the ultimate answer, if you have one, or contribute towards some possible answer, what we should do with the problem of agents and people like yourself that do need some money to make it while playing football?
Well, basically, I don't think that I have one particular answer that would solve that problem. I think my case brought a lot of light on the situation. I think after this, they'll look into the situation a lot better, and they'll try to resolve the situation, which I hope they do. I'm sorry that my case had to be the one to bring all this publicity to college football, but it just happened that way.
And Cris Carter, I'm sorry that we have to interview you under these circumstances, but I thank you very much. Good luck in the National Football League, and for the moment, let's go back to our studios in Dave Dials. All right, Dave Dials, 17-0, Ohio State, and the statistics, well, West Virginia doesn't have much in the way of statistics to put up there offensively, Steve Davis.
Well, I think the frustration that Earl Bruce would be looking at right now is the fact that he's only rushed for 41 yards. I know he wants more of a balanced attack. He doesn't care whether it's more passing or less running, but I think the key is more balance. He doesn't have that right now. Obviously, West Virginia's not been able to produce anything, and then the goose eggs and the passing yardage, which they really didn't want to have to rely on, but they're going to have to now. And then the key stat is the 6 turnovers, which have really put them in the hole and have caused a 17-0 score.
Oh, Charlie Bauman will kick it off for West Virginia as they hope for a better half of football. Ohio State had a lot of opportunities, capitalized 3 times, leads 17-0. And Everett Ross, who caught a 23-yard touchdown pass and has been fielding punts, is also called on to go back and perhaps return this kickoff. Number 5, he's back there with Carlos Snow, a freshman who's in on his first play. And he is a true freshman with Ohio State. And look at this. Carlos Snow is going to take the ball at the goal line and bring it out. They say he's been looking very good, and what a hole he's got. And lost the football. Another fumble, and let's see who gets it. West Virginia says they have it. The officials haven't said anything yet. Carlos Snow, the freshman out of Cincinnati, has fumbled the football, and they're saying it belongs to West Virginia.
We've seen this play before, just in reverse to start the first half of the football game. Now Carlos Snow, the freshman from Cincinnati, a true freshman, outstanding potential, gets turned around. The ball gets hit there by number 12, knocks the ball free, and then Brockman will fall on it.
And so it's West Virginia's ball. And they come out with Major Harris, the redshirt freshman rookie who did not have a good start. Hand off to Andre Johnson, and Johnson gets down to the 26-yard line as West Virginia tries to get back in the ball game. Fred Reeder and Chris Spielman make the stop. Spielman had an outstanding first half. Major Harris, Craig Taylor, Andre Johnson, the running backs, Keith Wynn, the tight end, John Talley, Harvey Smith are the wide receivers. It'll be 2nd down and 6 to go at the 26-yard line. Dale Wolfley, a freshman, is in for Bob Kovac. Remember, he got an injured ankle. Look at this by Andre Johnson running away from everybody. First down inside the 10. And the Mountaineers come storming back. William White makes the stop, but the costly fumble by Carlos Snow.
Again, the wishbone by formation causes Ohio State to be a little bit less aggressive. They have to be a more conservative balance. They give the ball to Andre Johnson, the junior, and powers into the secondary, and giving West Virginia that spark they could not create in the first half.
All created by the fumble. Out wide to the right goes Calvin Phillips. Everybody else is in tight. Wishbone on first down. Trying to get some more yardage, and very little yardage there for A.B. Anthony Brown, as William White, who's played an outstanding game on defense, came up to make the stop. Number 37.
If you watch that offensive line of West Virginia, they're matching up very nicely right now with that Ohio State front of McCready 93, Sullivan the nose guard, and Holloman. There were bodies on the ground that time, and they were wearing red jerseys.
Fred Ritter comes limping off. John Sullivan, a junior, number 57, goes in at inside linebacker. Smith left, Bell right, and straight ahead is Anthony Brown spinning off one man, and finally it is John Sullivan, the man who just came in, that made the stop of A.B. Brown. Sullivan, a junior out of Timberlake, Ohio, and it is 3rd down and 11 to go for the touchdown. West Virginia wants something here, Steve.
I'm sorry, Jim. West Virginia does not run the classic wishbone, but by the formation, you've got a timeout. They cause you to balance up on defense. You got to play both sides of the field. You can't cheat, and that's the advantage they want, is to get Ohio State in a more conservative situation.
Mountaineers don't want to squander this opportunity. Whether they get 3, they want 7. They're taking timeout on 3rd down and goal to go from the 11. 17-0 Ohio State. Now let us see how the defense, which played rather well through the first half for West Virginia, plays.
Well, West Virginia came to the ball game, and what they wanted to do was control the ball in the game by the formations, different play selection, quarterbacks, confusion, just different things to keep Ohio State off tempo. Well, that went out the window early because of the mistakes they were making. Now they have a tendency to get back to that kind of game plan, and I think that Don Nehlen's been able to make the negatives of the first half maybe potentially positives of saying, hey, we've made all of our mistakes. We're do something good to happen, and they got it, a break on the first drive.
And now Snow goes back with Ross, but remember last time Ross was on the far side and Snow on the near side, and the ball was kicked to the near side, and Snow, the freshman, fumbled. Now they put Ross on the near side and Snow, the freshman, on the far side. And here is Charlie Ballman to kick off again. Squibs this along, and this will be Ross picking it up at the 8-yard line. And down across the 30-yard line he goes, and Ohio State, for the first time in the second half, will snap from center. Tackle made there by Andrew Jones. Here's the defense for West Virginia. Brad Hunt, David Grant in the middle, Chris Parker the other tackle, linebackers Darnell Warren, Chris Herring. They like him a lot. He's been moved inside. Robert Pickett and Dale Jackson. Pitch back, and this is Vince Workman, and Workman gets very little. They close him down after about a yard. Herring was moved inside because Eric Lester is hurt. Preston Waters, he made a good defensive play along the sidelines. Willie Edwards intercepted a pass back in the first half. Stacy Smith made some good plays. And Terry White, the former Ohio Stater, free safety, wants this game more than anything. 2nd down, 8 to go from the 33. Clift is wide to the left, Ross to the right. They've been going with Cooper and Workman most of the time, although Bryant has scored a touchdown. Here's Tupa. Short drop, gets the ball short, intended for his tight end Alex Higdon. No good, 3rd down.
There shows the inexperience of Tom Tupa. That time it was the shuffle pass. Remember earlier where he drops back and then shovels it underneath? That type of play, that was what he was trying to do. The play became a disaster, and then he forced the ball and made an inexperienced mistake. He won't make many of them, but that obvious is a dangerous pass to try to throw when the play is broken down.
Anthony Coop comes in, number 22, redshirt freshman, start of the game. He's got good speed. 3rd down and 8 to go. There are still some storm clouds in the area of Columbus, Ohio, where it is 17-3 Ohio State early in the 3rd quarter. The fake to Workman, Tupa with the ball. Gets the ball, and it is caught by the tight end. Higdon gets away from a man, is across the 45, and run out of bounds. 1st down. Preston Waters knocks him out of bounds. Higdon made a good play in his first start for the Buckeyes.
So many positives are being created by this drive for Tom Tupa. You see something that coaches are loving. The fact, all right, here's the play. Set, he gets forced out. Now he can get away from the pressure. That's positive. Now here's Higdon, his first start as the starting tight end, and he catches the ball, gets out of the grasp, and then runs and makes something happen after the catch. Positive yards after the catch.
Got out of the grasp of Terry White. Higdon, 4.6 speed as a tight end, but 3.69 as a pre-med student. That's also impressive. First down from the 47-yard line. And Workman is hit in the backfield on a fine play by James Fuller, the sophomore middle guard. Check that. That's Chris Parker, 94, not Fuller, 84. Parker, the junior out of Whitehall, Pennsylvania. In any event, it's an outstanding defensive play. And obviously the fumble and the subsequent field goal, Steve Davis, has aroused this Mountaineer team that figures with almost a half to go, hey, we've got a chance.
Well, you remember now, Ohio State in the first half only had 41 yards rushing. They tried to rush it 21 times, so the defenses are doing some things right when they're rushing the ball against them.
Second down, a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Tupa, short drop, sidearms the ball, well past the outstretched arms of Cube at the sideline. And it is 3rd down and 14.
I think it's real important for Ohio State not to get sloppy, because you lose your intensity level. You've had a comfortable first half. You controlled the ball game. You were never really threatened. And it's very difficult to keep that sharp edge. And I know that's what's concerning Earl Bruce. And Tupa's getting a little bit deliberate in his throws and not being quite as sharp as he was in the first half.
3rd and 14 from the 49. That's Ross running in motion. Tupa almost went down, and he's going to go down, and David Grant gets him for the loss. I want to tell you, the middle or nose guard, David Grant, the senior out of Belleville, New Jersey, simply blew by everybody, and Tupa had no chance.
David Grant really is important for the middle. He's the nose guard. He's on Jeff Uhlenhake, who was a guard last year, his first start as a center, and he gets away from Uhlenhake, and watch him get the B on the quarterback Tupa, wraps him up, puts him to the ground. Good effort. There's some good battling going on the offensive line.
Now Tupa steps back. Ohio State's best punter in the school's history to kick the ball away to Terry White, who was an all Big Ten defensive back here at Ohio State before transferring. Beautiful kick. White inside the 10, calling for the fair catch. You let it go into the end zone, and it does, and will come out to the 20-yard line. So we're in Columbus, Ohio, and we'll be back with more Big Ten football in just a moment. The score in Columbus, 17-3, Ohio.
Come our way. Just keep coming. Now, hey, you got to notice the splits of Sam Backer. Notice the splits, because they're going to sally on you.
Dennis Brown, defensive coordinator, very enthusiastic. Think his defensive unit is in this ball game to stay. Major Harris hands off. This is A.B. Brown, and Brown runs for a first down, and what a difference a halftime makes. A fumble at the beginning of the second half has turned this entire football game around. Ohio State still leads, but here come the Mountaineers.
The toughest thing for players is to realize the game of motion will change a bunch of times. Young players have a problem with that. Brown breaks into the secondary. Good blocking, and they're controlling the defensive line right now of Ohio State, and so they're getting confidence every time they're moving the ball. That moves the chains. You give you confidence, and you forget about the mistakes of the past.
Wishbone on first down. Major Harris is going to cut it upfield for 3 or 4 yards and get out to about the 35-yard line. Chris Spielman again on the tackle. Number 36, the All-American and the captain. You know, when you talk about Ohio State football, that's quite a history they have. But here is Spielman, who this season, barring injury, is going to be the #1 tackler in the history of the game. And Tom Tupa is the #1 punter in the history of the game. And they're both on the same team in the same year. Second down, about 7 to go. 8.5 minutes to go, third quarter, 17-3 Ohio State. Harris on a quick handoff, and Greg Taylor gets a few yards. It'll be third down and about 3.
I tell you, Chris Spielman, I had a chance to go on the Big Ten Skyriders tour and to go to all the different universities. And when I met Chris Spielman, you know, because I'm from Oklahoma and had seen Brian Bosworth and the things that happened down at Oklahoma, which were not very positive for college football, Chris Spielman, I had an image that here is a little bit of an eccentric kid, a little bit different. His hair is different, but he is a pure football player. He is a self-made young man, and he is the best thing for college football. He is a positive.
Greg Fowler wide to the right. Major Harris still has a football and a little running room. and is shy of the first down at the 41. He's got to get it over the 42. Greg Rogan and Chris Spielman again came in on the tackle. That'll be 4th down and inches.
I tell you, Chris Spielman has such a presence and a sense on the field. He takes very few wasted steps when he's going to the ball. He takes a straight line approach, and he always dishes out a tremendous amount of punishment. He's strong. His physical abilities are not overwhelming, but he is such a good player and so aware of what's going on the field.
6 turnovers in the first half by West Virginia. Have put them in a hole, but now they're beginning to come back as on 4th and very little. Carrion is going to kick the ball away to Ross. Ross backing up inside his 10 will take it at the 7. And there's good coverage down there by West Virginia. And there's that man one more time, Bo Orlando, to make the stop as Ross gets to the 17-yard line. 7:03 to go, 3rd quarter. The Buckeyes, with all of their points in the first 17 minutes of the game, lead West Virginia 17-3. He's not in the game. John Peterson, a freshman, started at right tackle, but now Tim Moxley, a sophomore, number 74, is the right tackle for Ohio State as they try to get something going here. Vince Workman straight ahead, and not much. It's just not working as well as it did back in the first half. West Virginia has toughened up.
Through the course of the football game, you'll sense the emotion go different ways. The momentum here, watch it. Uhlenhake, the center, working on David Grant. They've been moving him around a lot. It's been a good battle all afternoon, and that's about a tie, but it's a battle of the wide bodies in the offensive and defensive line.
David Grant, 6'4", 271. He's a senior. As a freshman, he was a freshman All-American, the middle guard for West Virginia. 2nd down and 9 to go from the 24. Tupa, again Workman, and again Bo Orlando, number 22, to make the stop. And it'll be 3rd down.
You can really appreciate. I'm sorry, Jim. You can really appreciate Earl Bruce right now in terms of he really knows how critical a turnover or mistake would be. That's why he's a little bit more conservative on those first 2 downs. You just got to understand that he doesn't want to give them more emotion, more fuel to the fire.
For the first down. It's 3rd down from the 19. And Tupa's going to throw for it. He's got time. Gets the ball away and has his man. That is Workman, and Workman's got the first down. Workman worked his way loose, and the story was Tom Tupa had all the time in the world, and when you have that, somebody's going to get loose.
Again, Tupa really is able to move around and get away from the pressure. He helps his offensive line. Watch him. There's where he's supposed to sit. Now move away from the pressure and get out where you can see and make a safe throw to Workman right there across the middle. And Workman does a good job of protecting the ball and getting Ohio State the 1st and 10.
Robert Pickett takes himself out of the ball game, holding his left arm. He's an outside linebacker, number 45. And Lonnie Brockman, who recovered that second half fumble of Carlos Snow, has replaced him, number 97. Ross left, Cliff to the right. 1st down, ball at the 34. 17-3 Ohio State, 3rd quarter. Tupa still has the ball, and Tupa's in trouble, and down he goes. Chris Parker was not the man. He was run down from behind by Terry White. Let's go to Gene Washington at the West Virginia bench.
Yeah, Jim, they're very excited over here. They have a really good chance. They're only 14 points down, and
I'm sorry, Gene. We finally get to you, and something happened to the microphone, but we'll get back to you. But we got the gist of it. They're really excited, and it's 2nd down 15 for Ohio State. Tupa getting it down there for Coop, and Coop is by himself and holds on to the ball. No, they say he did not. He gets up as though he did, but the official on that side, nope. He was juggling it as he hit the sidelines. And he was all by himself. Tupa didn't quite get the ball to him.
The coaches have talked about Tupa's strong arm and his ability to throw the ball. He really doesn't get his feet all that well set. And then he's got his man open. Coop is out there. And when he hits the ground, the ball pops loose. Good extension. Good play by the freshman from Columbus.
Third down and 15 to go.
Jim, next time I talk over, you just knock me out the booth.
Well, you're bigger than I am. Clift is to the right, Ross to the left, and Tupper.
I doubt that.
Tupa Sr. in his first start, his big chance, looked great in the first half, and now hands the ball to Workman, and nobody's there to cover up on Vince. And Vince stepped out of bounds, Osei, at the 40-yard line, and that is 3 yards shy of the first down. Workman trying to retain his balance, stepped on the sidelines at the 40, and it's going to be 4th down.
Here's the ability of Workman working the sidelines. He'll hit it right there with his left foot. Boy, the coaches are happy about their backfield right now with Cooper and Workman, the backup of Bryant. They've got some talent. They'll be able to control people with a running game. They can be physical and play Ohio State football, rock 'em, sock 'em, which is so classic of Earl Bruce.
Who among you did not think this might be 40-0 by the end of the third quarter, the way Ohio State got going and the way West Virginia did not? It is 17-3, and Ohio State has to give the ball back to West Virginia. To put a punt to Terry White. Another good kick. Another good kick. He'll let this hopefully go into the end zone, and it does. So West Virginia will get the ball on the 20-yard line. 4:05 to go, third quarter. We will be back with more Big Ten football in just a moment. And the score here at Misty, Columbus, Ohio State 17. West is on defense here for Ohio State. Mike Showalter, number 98, replacing Ray Holloman at left defensive tackle, and Derek Eiseman, a junior out of Fremont, Ohio, number 10 for McRae at one of the linebacker spots. First down, West Virginia trailing by 14 from their own 20. And there is A.B. Brown not getting much. Chris Spielman again in on the tackle. A gain of 2 at his second down and 8. Pat Thomas no longer in there. Mike Sullivan back at the nose for Ohio State. Calvin Phillips comes into the play for Major Harris. Redshirt freshman to be sure, but for Major Harris to step out before about 85 to 90,000 people and a team that's challenging for the national championship, already ranked number 5, it's intimidating, but they seem to have their things together. Maybe not enough to win this. Here's Major Harris trying to duck inside, and he's lost the football, and he loses it out to A.B. Brown out at the 29-yard line.
Anthony Brown, the ball carrier.
And I had Major Harris until the pitch up.
Watch Kumaro. He's got quarterback responsibility. Gets tied up inside. Has to chase the ball. What happened that time, Major Harris got away from his pitch relationship, pitched the ball actually in front of him, but he was behind the line of scrimmage. Earl Bruce thought he had passed the line of scrimmage, but he had not. Just shows his inexperience. He's not a great option quarterback, but his ability gives him the opportunity to be a very good one.
Looks like the old split T. They're trying to get the first down. Now, you know they've got to get to the 30-yard line. Chris Spielman has stacked this up, and Ohio State thinks he did not get to the 30-yard line. Major Harris tried the quarterback sneak, but I don't think it was enough. It's not enough. They're going to have to kick the ball away again. They're going to call for a measurement, but we know that the nose of the ball has got to touch the 30 because the ball went into the end zone and came out to the 20.
Chris Spielman, it has such intensity. Watch Chris Spielman, 36, come into the play to try to be a force to stop the effort for the 1st and 10, and he grabs him any way he can and pulls him away. The forward progress of the ball, and Chris Spielman helped to keep it getting to the 1st and 10 mark.
Lance Guerin to kick the ball away again to Everett Ross. Second time they've had 4th and inches and have kicked the ball away, but that's proper technique in a game this close now that it is only a 14-point difference. The ball goes out of bounds on the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 24 for Ohio State. Don Nealon across the way. Virginia Tech trailing Clemson. Clemson 9-3, third quarter. Air Force trailing Texas Christian. Texas Christian's had its problems lately, losing a lot of folks to ineligibility. And this is for our producer, Peter Engelhardt. That's the only reason. Well, there are a lot of Bowling Green and Youngstown State fans, but Pete went to Bowling Green and would like you to know that. Or should I say that Don Nealon went to Bowling Green, and that's why the score's up. It's for the fans of Bowling Green and Youngstown State, of course. We're just kidding you. First down, 17-3, 2:19 to go, third quarter. Ohio State's got the ball at their own 24. And Workman is stood straight up in the air and put right down by David Grant, looks like to me, number 98. He's having quite a time at 271.
Remember, David Grant, 98, is working against Jeff Uhlenhake, 68. He's been a 2-year starter. Uhlenhake at left guard. Now he's moved over to center, so he's finding a little bit of the newness out there in terms of playing center. He's not been there for Ohio State, and David Grant's been at nose guard, and he knows how to handle his job. So the battles are right there between those two and that offensive and defensive line.
2nd down and 8. Ohio State's fans are getting a little restless. They had a 17-0 lead. There's Tupa. Look out, Tupa. Tupa gets the ball away, and the nearest man to it was Bo Orlando again, intended for Workman. But remember, with 12 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the second quarter, the Buckeyes got their last score. They've not scored since, and we've got 1:31 to go in the third quarter. So that's almost a half of football with nowhere near a score for Tom Tupa and his teammates. Cube comes in, flipped out. Cube with the play, of course. And I believe, Steve Davis, we're going to get some more rain before this is over. Now they put, and they have before, both wide receivers wide and left. Ross and Cube. On 3rd down and 8. Tupa has time again. Oh, he's got time and some space, and now gets the ball away, intended for Cooper. A big hit was put on him by Chris Herring, and Cooper didn't hold on to the ball, and it's 4th down.
Watch Uhlenhake this time, number 68, do a good job. He turns out. He's working right there on Brad Hunt, number 70. Good effort, using the frame of the body, keeping Hunt away from the action, gets back up on his feet. Good effort by Jeff Uhlenhake, 68, the center.
And Brad Hunt's no patsy, is he? No, he was giving him all he could handle. Here's Tupa to kick the ball away, and Terry White is deep, standing at his 25-yard line. And this third quarter has been all West Virginia. They've had the ball most of the time, but it's almost double in total yardage. Ohio State over West Virginia. Another good kick. No fair catch by Terry White at the 18-yard, over the 23-yard line. Gets a little lane and gets the ball out to about the 38-yard line. What is 1st and 10? This is just the first game of today on the Big Ten Network. Tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central Time. Champaign, Illinois will be the site. Illinois and the Rose Bowl champions, Arizona State. Somebody in the Big Ten's got to figure out how to beat somebody in the Pac-10, and maybe Illinois can figure that out tonight. As John Cooper, our guest of the pregame show, said, he is very happy with his team. It is very strong.
John Cooper's one of the best kept secrets, really, in college football. It's not a secret anymore with what he did in the Rose Bowl, but John was at Tulsa. Excellent coach.
Here's Major Harris. He's got some room to run if he wants to, but he's going to put the ball into the air for Napoleon, who drops the ball at the 5. Eugene Napoleon in on the first play of 1987. Number 33, the sophomore of Jersey City, had it at the 5, in and out of the arms, and it is 2nd down. Would have been a different ball game, wouldn't it?
Really would. Really give credit to Major Harris to sit in there, a redshirt freshman. He wants to throw there. He's got good protection. Now he's got to scramble, get away from the heat, and throws the ball way downfield, and Eugene Napoleon drops it. He'll get another opportunity, but that would have been a touchdown. He'd worked his way. He kept moving as a receiver, kept knowing that the quarterback would be trying to throw it. Did a good job.
Shake up the Ohio State defense, won't it? Secondary. And now the running play by Undra Johnson gets across the 40 to about the 43-yard line. It will be 3rd down and about 6 to go. David Brown and Greg Rogan came up from the secondary to make the stop. 44 seconds to go, 3rd quarter.
This is one of the classics of the way the wishbone works. Watch out, quarterbacks. It's called the hard stunt. Kumaro from his outside linebacker position. I've left some of my best body parts on the field as a result of that type of stunt. It's not
Harvey
fun.
Smith, the senior out of Monroeville, Pennsylvania, checks in. And he is wide to the right. Wishbone. They need 4 yards. Talley in motion. Major Harris going to throw it out to Talley. Talley can get the first down and does get the first down and will be run out of bounds across the way by number 47, Ray Jackson, the rover back. But first down, West Virginia in Ohio State territory. Buckeyes leading by 14. in the last seconds of the third quarter.
What West Virginia is doing, Talley's lining up at the halfback position. He's actually a wide receiver, so they're getting out of the wishbone, getting a receiver out and making it a pass offense. So they're really, and Talley does a good job. He's a converted quarterback. He knows what to do after he catches the ball and makes the good play.
Radis Bell got about 15 yards to the left, a wide receiver. Whoops, almost offside there, and that is Unruh Johnson getting about 5 yards, nearly to the 41-yard line before he is tripped up. You know, what a change in feeling. Ohio State, whether they win or not, West Virginia will leave this stadium saying, hey, we're not as bad as we looked in the first half. 17-3 Ohio State, 1 quarter to play here in Columbus, Ohio. It's 182 total yards for Ohio State, 112 for West Virginia, 143 yards passing for Ohio State, and only 17 for West Virginia. Here's second down. Major Harris hands the ball off. Not quite the first down, as Greg Taylor simply makes it back to the line of scrimmage where he is stacked up. And it'll be third down from the 43-yard line of Ohio State. You got to move the ball down to the 36 for the first down. John Talley comes in with the play. His brother Darrell was an All-American at West Virginia, now linebacker in the National Football League. Matter of fact, Dale Wolfley has 2 brothers in the National Football League. He's a backup. Well, he's playing guard now. Now we see Kovac is back in. The man was injured. Look out. Flag down. Harris on the run. Harris looking to throw. Throws the football for Talley, who dropped the ball at the 29. But moments ago, a flag went down. Ineligible man downfield, holding whatever. We'll wait and see.
Here's Talley. Again, he was at the backfield position. Now, when your quarterback's scrambling receivers, you've got to find the open area. Just keep moving. Let that receiver find you. Your quarterback's all over the place, and he's trying to find the open area. Finally, Major Harris finds him, and he almost makes a great catch, but he wasn't able to control the ball.
Holding against Ohio State. I'm sure they'll
on the offense,
refuse this to get him to kick it away at fourth down.
That last play really illustrated why Major Harris is starting over the veteran Mike Timko, in the sense that he's able to get away from the pressure, make something happen. Timko's not quite as versatile and able to get away from that pressure.
Speaking of versatility, Everett Ross has done about everything today. Return kicks, punts, and catch touchdown passes. He's back at the 10-yard line as Carrion will kick the ball. Fair catch. This is caught for at the 10-yard line, and it'll be first down Ohio State. And the Buckeyes will try to get something going. It's been a long time, and the Ohio State fans want something. Cheering them on. Earl Bruce walking back and forth, a quick and easy 17-0 lead, and that's all they've had. Virginia has gone in front of Maryland 15-14, third quarter. North Carolina State losing to Pittsburgh 21-0. Mike Godfrey doing a job there. Indiana over Rice 7-0 first quarter. We'll see Indiana in not too distant future here on the Big Ten Network. There's Tupa throwing out for Ross, who goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Pick up a 5. It is second down and 5.
The fill on it, all right?
And again, Dennis Brown goes to work talking to that defense. Check that. That's not the defense. That's the offense.
Yeah, we might be able to get him hooked and pinned inside there. All right? So be aware of that. When you're stepping out there, see if he's in an aggressive stance. If so, then you should be able to get him hooked on that. All right? Okay, now.
Jim, both of these teams have just outstanding coaches on both staffs. They've done such a good job in preparing the kids to come into this season.
Second down and 10. Hand off and no place to go for Workman. And it's third down. And now Earl Bruce and his club have to be a little concerned. Here's a team that with those 6 turnovers by West Virginia in the first half capitalized 3 times, came up with 2 touchdowns, 1 by the run, 1 by the pass, a field goal, and since then it has been Zippo. They have gotten nothing, and it is West Virginia that has been moving the ball, albeit not well into Ohio State territory, but they have managed a field goal in this half, and Eugene Napoleon dropped the ball behind everybody at the 5-yard line in this half. The Buckeyes haven't had anything happen like that to them. And here comes number 41, Bryant, out, and Bryant is knocked down by Terry White.
I think a real key point right now is, when have you ever seen an Ohio State football team in the fourth quarter with only 40 yards rushing? Here they're trying to get something happening on the ground. Again, Tupa, the pitch play to Bryant, number 41. He's the talent. Strong runner inside. This time he's outside. And this is a good, significant play for them on the in the running game, but they've not had it today.
And gives the Buckeyes a first down at the 23-yard line. Ross, the man in motion. And Tupa again handing off to number 41, James Bryant, the sophomore out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who scored a touchdown back in the first quarter. He gets across the 25-yard line. A pickup of 3, 2nd and 7.
One of the things that Don Nehlen and his staff felt after last season, that they were a little heavy, maybe a step or two slow, and what's happened, they had a tremendous lost weight program, losing some weight, and kids on the defense and the front line lost as much as 25 pounds, and they're quicker, they're more agile, and he thinks it's the right move. He says the mood in college football is get bigger and better, and he says big and best is, bigger and better is not always the case. I'll get my B's right in a minute. Bigger, better, best.
2nd down and 6. Ryan again, and does a good job there getting up near the 30-yard line. Well, as they go back to the huddle, let us go back to Dave Dials.
More action between Tennessee and Mississippi State, and it's that man, Reggie Cobb, once again. Screen pass. The gain is for 42 yards. That sets up his own 4-yard scoring run. Reggie's 3rd touchdown of the day. Tennessee leads Mississippi State 24-3.
All right, Dave. Tennessee on a roll. Bill Matlock is in the backfield with Bryant. Cooper and Workman are not there. Harold Bruce has made some changes. 3rd down and 4. Big play for both teams. From the 28. Tupa on the handoff to, well, he keeps the ball and pitches back out to Bryant. And there's a good play there, and he lost the ball out of bounds. But Bryant was hit hard by Preston Waters, number 5, and fumbled the ball away. Terry White came over and really leveled him after Waters made initial contact. And there's a man down, and it looks as though, we'll have to check it for you. Looks like number 66, and if it is, that's Theron Ellis, a linebacker of West Virginia.
Watch the hit at the end of the play. Watch Terry White, number 2, a former Ohio State player, hits him right on the numbers, knocks the ball loose. And he was always considered a catalyst in terms of his ability to make big hits in the ball game.
2:59 to go, 3rd quarter. And they're helping the injured man up. We'll come back in just a moment. Ellis is apparently okay. 17-3, Ohio State. Back in a moment. Jim Simpson, Steve Davis, Gene Washington in Columbus. We regret to tell you, we thought Ellis was okay, but he went back to the ground, and they had to carry him off the field as though an ankle or a knee is the problem. Tupa back to kick the ball away. And this is Harvey Smith, who is deep. Buckeyes couldn't move the ball again. Picked up 1 first down after kicking it away. Harvey Smith backing up inside his 20. Now lets the ball go, and that may be a big mistake unless it gets into the end zone, and it does. For a long while, when you let it go from the 20 and it's that high, there's no guarantee, and now there's an Ohio State man down, and it is Tupa. And I don't know if he turned an ankle or what, but nobody was really near him when I looked at him, Steve Davis, and down he went. The play was at the other end of the field, in my vision, when Tupa went down at the 45-yard line of Ohio State. I don't know if he twisted something.
He's cramping. Looks like it's just a cramp.
Right, I see it now. Back of his left leg. 11:04 left in the game. Ohio State leads by 14. After taking a quick 17-0 lead, helped along by 6 first half Mountaineer turnovers. Now Tupa walking off with that cramp. And remember, he is the only quarterback on the Buckeye squad that has collegiate experience. Harris was taken off the field, and they're working on him. Remember, Bob Kovac went out, an offensive lineman, but he is now back in at right guard. Harvey Smith goes wide to the left. Wishbone shown again. Major Harris, the quarterback. 17-3 Ohio State, first down. Harris still with the football, the pitch back. That is Brown. Brown makes a nice move there. Another one that is out to the 39, 40-yard line before he finally goes down. A.B. Brown, the junior out of Salem, New Jersey, a transfer from the University of Pittsburgh.
Ray Jackson and Chris Spielman.
Spielman again in on the tackle.
20 yards. First down, West Virginia.
First down, West Virginia.
Ohio State was not surprised at the wishbone attack of West Virginia. They prepared for it. They believed all along, I think, that West Virginia would come in. There's the disparity in the yards. Just a flip-flop.
Craig still with the ball. Most of the right side of the defense was chasing Major Harris, who's being trailed by A.B. Brown. But Craig Taylor went straight ahead and got out to near the 50-yard line. It'll be second down and very short yardage. Maybe a foot. You know, at the Ohio State Band, it is all brass and percussion, no woodwinds at all. They figure the stadium is so big, you would never be able to hear the woodwinds. Umbrellas are up. It is raining very lightly as Major Harris takes a second timeout of this half for West Virginia. 10:09 to go, and we'll come back with more Big Ten football in just a moment. We're in Columbus at Ohio Stadium, where Ohio State leads West Virginia 17-3. Ball is at near midfield with 10:09 to go. West Virginia, and as Steve Davis can tell you, Major Harris made a freshman mistake. Second down and inches to go, 10 minutes to go at midfield, and called for a timeout.
And Don Nealon chewed on him a little bit. Got to watch the clock.
Here's Major Harris, and this will make up for something as he picks up 5 or 6 yards. Tripped up by Chris Spielman again, and it's first down, and they have moved into Ohio State territory. Now remember, the youngster Eugene Napoleon, playing in his first game ever on one play, found himself loose at the 5, missed a perfectly thrown ball by Major Harris, or this would be a 17-10 game. Ohio State not running away. They got all 17 of their points early, nothing since. First down, 45-yard line, Talley, the man in motion. Harris stepping up. Strong man gets down to the 40-yard line.
That's what's special about Major Harris, of being able, the play should have been dead 2-3 yards behind him, but what he was able to do is give a juke fake, move upfield, and make the extra yards on a play that was really not very promising, and he has that ability, and that's why he's in the ball game.
Second down from the 40-yard line. West Virginia total yards this half over twice what Ohio State has in this half. They're within 50 yards of them now for the game, 200 to 152. Harris, the fake to Brown. He's going to throw the ball, lofting it, and they're down there, and he can't make the catch. Is Harvey Smith, who caught a touchdown pass of 40 yards from Major Harris last week against Ohio University. David Brown, the defender. Major Harris.
Major Harris, this time trying to make the throw to Harvey Smith. Let's see where he gets hit. Oh, actually, what happened? Someone catapults into him. He's on the ground. He walks into it.
That was Mike Sullivan, number 67, that Harris got tangled with. Smith to the left. Wishbone. Harris on third down and 6 to go from the 45 of Ohio State. Grantis Bell, a man in motion. Harris back to throw, has to get the ball away, and it's on one hop to Keith Wynn, the junior tight end, who, by the way, hails from Dayton, Ohio, just down the road. Fourth down.
What the wishbone has done to Ohio State most of the day is kept them pretty neutral where they couldn't put their blitzes. There was an obvious passing situation, and regardless of the wishbone formation, they took the chance, down and distance evaluation. They decided to blitz. It was successful.
Carry on the kick, and again, that man, Everett Ross, is back deep, standing at the 10. Up on one hop, gets the ball away. And let's see what happens to this ball. Can they get it before it goes in the end zone? Answer no. It comes out to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. And the Buckeyes again will try to get something going in this light rain here in Columbus, Ohio. Their offense has been almost non-existent. They have gotten less than 100 yards here in the second half. They've been outgained terribly in the second half. And their best weapon thus far has been the pass, not the run.
We showed Don Nealon yesterday, shared as he walked into the stadium, the situation that back in 1953 he was a high school player being recruited by Woody Hayes. Woody invited him to come to the game as a recruit, gave him tickets, but the night before he had to spend the night in the old baseball dugout, set up in the cheap seats, and decided that maybe he couldn't come to Ohio State. He returns to Buckeye Stadium.
Workman and Cooper have returned also to the backfield. And Workman gets out across the 25-yard line. Let's call it to the 25, and 2nd down 5 there. Barring some sudden explosion or turnovers, of which we've had none since the first play of the second half, after 6 by West Virginia and 2 by Ohio State in the first half, the Buckeyes should go out winners. But West Virginia very much in the ball game. Different ball game entirely in the second half. 2nd and 5. Here's Workman again, and he is dragged down by David Grant on top of him. The senior out of Belleville, New Jersey. It'll be 3rd and short.
Well, if everything stays the way it is right now, I think what Earl Bruce will be most disappointed in is that they just didn't really control the offensive line and really punish West Virginia. West Virginia dealt out a little bit of punishment of its own, and that's the frustration because they've only got 62 yards rushing right now. Last year in 2 games, Ohio State had 82 against Washington. They lost that game, and only 85 rushing yards against Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. They won that game.
3rd down and 2. The backs are split. And they give it to Workman, and he does not get it. Workman does not get it. He runs right into Dale Jackson, the linebacker on that side. And it's 4th down. And Tufel will remain in to punt or to run the ball club. Obviously, he's going to punt, taking off that knee brace. And West Virginia will get the ball back again with about 7 minutes to go. I would imagine, Steve, that the West Virginia fans will say this half is the best that West Virginia's played, despite the fact they beat Ohio U last week by 20 points.
Well, I think they pointed to Ohio State all preseason and all spring practice and summer, so I think this is an indication of the kind of team they will be in 1987.
Tufel to kick the ball away. And Terry White watches it bounce and picks it up at the 22 after calling for the fair catch there. 6:35 to go. Another chance for West Virginia. Ohio State 17, West Virginia 3.
Which was trailing Hawaii 7-0, has come from behind on an Artley touchdown and 2 Gregory field goals, and the Badgers now lead Hawaii by a score of 13-7. Let's return you now to our game in Columbus.
The Ohio State defense has done its job and is now called on to do so again. In the pregame thinking, despite the missing of Jay Schaefer, the right tackle, and the moving over from guard to center of Ewan Lake, most observers thought that offensive line of Ohio State would dominate the Mountaineers, but it has not done so. Here's Undra Johnson carrying the football, makes a nice cut inside, and guess who made the tackle? Number 36, Chris Spielman again.
Kumaro and Spielman complement each other so well. That time Kumaro was playing to this side, to where the play came from, and he strung it out. What happened, the back went inside of Kumaro, a little bit outside of Kumaro, but he forced him right into Chris Spielman, who was there waiting on the play. And so those guys work so well in tandem, and they really are the best 1-2 combination of linebackers in the country. They are excellent players.
2nd down, a gain of 4, 6 to go. And there's a pitch past Undra Johnson, who falls on the ball at the 20-yard line. And that's a big loss for West Virginia.
Recovered by number 34, Undra Johnson.
Watch Kumaro, 14. This is what you call just eliminating a player out in the situation. That's what his job is. He's got quarterback. He doesn't have to look at anything else. If the quarterback comes to his side, go eliminate the quarterback, and that's exactly what he did. And just the intimidation factor of Kumaro being out there, and promise you, as a wishbone quarterback, you know where the best players are, and you especially know who's got you. And that time it was Kumaro on Major Harris, and Kumaro won the battle.
3rd down and 13. Tally in motion. Major Harris back to throw. Got some room. Fires the ball. Has a man wide open, and he drops the football. Would have been a 1st down. Ran the route perfectly, but then Harvey Smith dropped the football.
I know this is frustrating for Major Harris because he really delivers a good throw, and Harvey Smith ought to have the football. I don't think the ball's that wet. The ball's well thrown. There's no reason for dropping the ball. That's his job. He needs to catch it. He's a big play kid. Co-captain of the team generally gets it done. That time he did not.
Gary Otten kicked the ball away. Everett Ross to field the ball at the 45-yard line. This man has been dangerous all day. Scoots out of bounds at the 43-yard line with 5 minutes and 3 seconds left to go. 17-3 Ohio State, and for the first time in a long while, the Buckeyes have the ball in West Virginia territory. They spent nearly the whole first half there.
What was so critical about the drop pass by Harvey Smith, he was in 1st down situation. Had he caught it, it would have been 1st and 10. Now what happens? Turn it over, and it goes to Ohio State.
Time has been called. 5:03 to go. Back with more Big Ten football at the moment. Ohio State 17, West Virginia 3. Interest as Ohio State's going on offense. Chris Spielman has 14 tackles. Make that 19 tackles. He is now 35 behind Tom Cousineau, who holds the all-time record. 1st down at the 44. With the hands off to Vince Workman, trying to get outside. A good play there by the linebacker on that side, Robert Pickett. And it's 2nd down.
I'll tell you what is so impressive about West Virginia, Jim, is that you look like they've got an area. Ohio State looks like they've got them isolated out there. They're going to make something happen. You see the back bust to the outside, and then all of a sudden, there are about 3 or 4 white shirts that just converge in the ball carrier. They've got good speed and movement.
And a loss of 3 on the play. It's 2nd down 13. Remember, Ohio State has Oregon here next week. And then they really better have their offense in gear on the 26th when they go down to play in a real Death Valley at LSU in Baton Rouge. 2nd down. But this is the first game for the Buckeyes, the 2nd for West Virginia. And they got a new quarterback, and they don't have Chris Carter. Ball thrown over to Workman, who takes quite a pop from that same Robert Pickett. Inside the 40 at the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4 to go from there.
Robert Pickett.
I tell you, football can be a very punishing game, and that's what it's about. It's physical, and that's the way they play at Ohio State. But this time, West Virginia dishes it out. Watch Workman, 42, bang! Robert Pickett, number 45, literally takes him back a ways.
Ross goes to the right, and Clift comes to the left. 3rd down, remember, and 4 to go. Tufa will throw for it. Has his man and throws it on one hop to Workman at the 30-yard line. They're running all around with the ball, but that got to save his energy and come back. That was Darnell Warren, the sophomore at McKeesport, Pennsylvania, who picked the ball up.
Oklahoma 7, North Carolina 0. And at the half.
Ball at the 37-yard line. A reminder on most of these same stations on the Big Ten Network tonight. Arizona State and Illinois, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And now White goes back deep. Tupa is going to be the man to kick it away. Carolina defeated the Illini last week, and they're trailing Oklahoma by 7 this week. And of course, Arizona State, the Rose Bowl champs, and John Cooper said on our Big Ten Today show, he is loaded. He's happy with his position. Here's Tupa to kick the ball away. Aiming it for the side in the corner, and they may get something out of this, and they're going to get it at about the 2, putting West Virginia in the hole, down by 14 with 3:14 to go. The ball is inside the 5-yard line, a long way from the Major Harris West Virginia offense to go, and they need 2 scores. Officially, 3:14 to go. Ohio State 17, West Virginia 3. Back to Columbus in a moment. Timko, the senior, to get something going. After all, they've got to go about 97 yards to get 1 score, and they need 2 touchdowns to tie. Don Nealon, graduate of Bowling Green, in his 8th year. 4 straight years he went to bowl games after rebuilding that program, and he's very close to catching Art Pappy Lewis as the all-time winningest coach at West Virginia. Timko's going to throw from his own end zone and throwing it out here for Talley. And there's White with his 3rd interception of the day. The 7th turnover, and White goes in for the touchdown. Three interceptions for William White, 1 touchdown. And that puts the icing on Ohio State's first game cake. A game of turnovers.
Well, Ohio State's in a perfect position. They realize that West Virginia, with the score and the time as it is, they've got to throw the football so they can play back. They didn't put a tremendous rush. They drop back. There's William White, again, perfectly timing the interception, and he's able to walk down. He picks up a blocker. There's 47 Jackson, Ray Jackson, and steps into the end zone.
Matt France, who hasn't had much to do since the early going, comes in and kicks the extra point, and all of a sudden Ohio State can breathe a lot easier. It is 24-3. But it has been their defense, and it has been the turnovers of West Virginia that has brought Ohio State this first game victory. But when you're starting a new quarterback and without an all-American wide receiver, and your regular right tackle is injured and not playing, and you move your all-Big Ten left guard to center, things are a little ragged on offense for Ohio State.
No real tough pressure on Timko, the quarterback. The ball's just thrown to Talley, and then William White's able to step in front. Now watch him pick up. There's Ray Jackson, 47, leading him in down the sidelines. Good effort. There's more blockers. Alert secondary seat. Well, there's a little push, boys. There's a clip right there. Number 29, Rogan clips. Watch this. Watch right here. The clip's going to be coming up right here in just a second. 29 working on the back. I would say 29, Rogan clipped on that play. Well, there's a couple of different points there. Also, McCray made first contact, and that might have been the point that the officials didn't see it, but at least from the back, Rogan did clip.
Now the man who was the busiest man of all in the early going is back in to kick off one more time. Pat O'More, his first appearance here in the second half. Kick is over there and taken over there by Williams. And Tim brings the ball out to about the 25-yard line. But a real uphill battle now. Less than 3 minutes to go. And down as they are by 21 points for West Virginia. Blown away by their own turnovers and Ohio State's good defense and opportunism in the first half. West Virginia fought back in the second. Picked up a field goal, but when it all is said and done, it was the turnover again that buried them for good at 24-3. And it is still Mike Timko in there to throw as he hands the ball off instead to A.B. Brown, and the flag goes down in the backfield of West Virginia. West Virginia will go on to play Maryland next week, and then 2 weeks from today gets Pittsburgh, another bitter rival at home. You can't call our Ohio State team their big rivals. They've not played here or played Ohio State since 1903. This is the first meeting in 84 years of West Virginia and Ohio State, even though it's just a 4-hour bus ride away. Penalty has not been stepped off yet from the 25, and now will be, putting West Virginia even farther back in the hole.
On the offense, first down.
Takes the ball back to the 14. Once this game is over, this is early in the season, even though the season for many started a week ago. Dave Dials in the Big Ten Today studios will have all of the scores and a look ahead to tonight, including tonight's game that many of you overthrowing Grandis Bell at the 24-yard line. And it is second down and 20.
I think both teams can really focus on a lot of positives. I think West Virginia's defense was quite impressive. They were put in the hole by kicking game and offensive errors. You can look at Ohio State that they can be very comfortable that they can control the ball game. A win is a win. Traditionally, Ohio State has been a slow starter in the first games. So many positives. I think the quarterback problem, the receiver problem, that's no longer an issue. And those are the positive things that Earl Bruce wanted to take away out of this first game. And
second
he got
down. And that is Anthony Brown, A.B. Brown again. Well, you can take a look. 24-3. The offense, because of different reasons, maybe did not look that sharp for Ohio State, but when you compare it to losing to Alabama 16-10 in the first game last year and losing to University of Washington 40-7 in the second game last year, this is a much better alternative.
Oh,
It
sure.
is in the win column, and they have looked good, and their offense will come together. No question of that. Tupa looked extremely sharp in the first quarter.
Tupa and Ross.
Demko buying time, now throwing, and this ball is caught. That's one of the rarities for West Virginia. A.B. Brown made the catch, and that's a first down. A little bit more than 2 minutes left in this 24-3 ball game. Remember, Steve and I will be in Madison, Wisconsin next Saturday afternoon, noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central. Utah comes to the University of Wisconsin. Demko, and you'll see it on the Big Ten Network. Demko is still running, still buying time. Now has his man, and that is Keith Wynn, the tight end, for his first catch of the year down at the 40-yard line. Wynn, a junior out of Dayton, Ohio.
Ohio State's just trying to not give any big play up. They're not putting a tremendous rush on the quarterback. He moves around. Demko's more the thrower. And across the middle.
Demko down, throws out to Greg Taylor, and the fullback picks up almost the first down to the 31-yard line. So after today, West Virginia will have defeated Ohio University 23-3, but lost to Ohio State. They'll be 1-1 going on to Maryland. Ohio State will be 1-0 and waiting here before they get next week Oregon, before another non-conference game, LSU at LSU in 2 weeks. Demko back, has time, throws, and that's A.B. Brown again. And Brown has played a good game today, inside the 25-yard line, down to the 24. Clock running 1:19 left. And the crowd, which loves its football, some have left, but most are still here, despite the fact they've gone through rain. William White has tied the school record for interceptions with his 3 today, including 1 touchdown. Oh, look at Brown. Look at Brown. Is he going to get it? Yes! They say he's out of bounds as he was bumped out of bounds, bobbling the ball. Couldn't hold on to the ball while he was inbounds. But how close West Virginia has come, Steve. The dropped ball by Napoleon, and this would have made it closer, but it's all over now.
Well, there's no doubt the play's out of bounds. Good throw. Demko has good touch on the ball. He's out of bounds.
Second down and 10. Demko. And down he goes. A big rush put on. And that was Orlando Craig. Well, the good thing is Ohio State, they've got a win. West Virginia, they've got a loss, but they look good in the second half, and they look defensively good throughout the game. The best of all is Steve Davis and I have 9 more weeks to go on the Big Ten Football Network, and join us every Saturday. Here's Demko putting it up, looking for Harvey Smith, and the ball is intercepted in the end zone by Rogan. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is incredible. That is the 8th turnover by West Virginia today, with 33 seconds to go.
This is a very talented Ohio State secondary. I think they play very well together, and you look at films, their spring game, and Rogan does a great job of concentrating, going down, and being able to find the football and make the interception.
Greg Fry, a freshman, redshirt out of Cincinnati, is going to take his first snap ever at a college football game now. His number is 15. He's 6'2", 190. And this will be his first collegiate experience. Not bad, 33 seconds to go and 24-3. And he's going to put his knee down. Fans didn't like it, believe it or not. Archie Griffin, who in this nation has ever won the Heisman Trophy twice, you're looking at it. Archie Griffin, his brother Keith, still plays in professional football. Archie had quite a career. They're letting the clock run down, and this first Big Ten football telecast on the Big Ten Network is just about over. And Ohio State, thanks to defense and turnovers, dominated West Virginia, kept them from crossing the goal line, gave them only a field goal, and that after turnover of their own. and scored 24 points. Final score, Ohio State 24 and West Virginia 3. And we'll come back with more of our Big Ten football television.
Some people. The day, and this is probably the most precious of all of them. Watch him make a great interception, takes it away from Talley. Now he's got the ability, keeps his feet, pick up some blockers. There they are. 57 is in there. And he's just able to run down the field. Ray Jackson, 47, good block. There's Spillman making a block, and he goes into the end zone for the touchdown.
And I will see you next week in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm Jim Simpson, along with Steve Davis and Gene Washington. Dave Dials is coming up with Big Ten Today, all the scores around the country, and the highlights of games here in the Big Ten and throughout the country. That follows immediately. Big Ten football has been brought to you in part by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. And by Apple Computer, makers of the new Macintosh SE and Macintosh 2 family of personal computers.
Turns it for a 29-yard touchdown. This is one of the Mountaineers' 8 turnovers for the afternoon. And the final score, Ohio State over West Virginia. The score is 24-3. Now, Keith, back to you.
Of numerous West Virginia Mountaineer heirs. Here, Bryant, a 7-yard run into the end zone quickly, 10-0. Now, Tom Tupa tosses this one to Ross. It'll go for 23 yards on the touchdown, 17-0 at the time. Then Mike Timko in at quarterback, throwing out of the end zone. The pass is intercepted by White. What's he going to do? That's right, 29 yards back the other way for the touchdown, 24-3. The Buckeyes get the win. In the meantime, Syracuse better than Rutgers.